Midwest, the Let's Go Fishing Show on January 3rd through 5th at Gateway Convention Center in Collinsville. Visit vendors with the latest fishing boats, rods, reels, tackle, accessories, resorts, and guided services. Shop unique, one-of-a-kind items, and top-of-the-line marine electronics at discount prices. Attend free seminars. Meet pro anglers, Bassmaster Elite Series pros Brandon Palaniuk, Steve Kennedy, and more. Free fishing pond. Win prizes from Wholesale Batteries, Canoe Canada, and Tri-State Trolling Motors. Visit letsgoshows.com for coupons and more info.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLC.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It was a lone wolf. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. That's the FBI's finding in the New Year's attack in New Orleans.
We do not assess at this point that anyone else involved in this attack is involved in this attack except for Shamsuddin Jabbar.
Christopher Frey is the deputy director of the FBI's counterterrorism division. In a security briefing, the FBI has reportedly told congressional leaders there was no intelligence about a pending attack. But Fox's Garrett Tenney reports acquaintances had noticed changes in Jabbar.
A man who is married to Jabbar's ex-wife told the New York Times Jabbar had been acting erratically in recent months, so much so that the couple had to stop allowing the two daughters they share with Jabbar. They had to stop them from spending time with him.
The FBI also clarifying Jabbar killed 14 people with the rented truck. He became the 15th victim when police shot him to death. New Orleans is taking down the crime scene tape and reopening Bourbon Street ahead of today's rescheduled Sugar Bowl game at the Superdome. The driver of the truck that exploded at the Trump Hotel in Vegas identified as an active duty U.S. Army soldier.
Federal agents are searching a home in the Colorado Springs area they say is connected to Matthew Allen Livelsberger, the now dead driver of the Cyber Tesla truck that exploded in front of the Trump International Hotel near the Las Vegas Strip. Fox News confirms Livelsberger was an active duty U.S. Army Special Operations soldier who had a history with the military going back to 2006. The FBI also now says they do not believe Livelsberger's acts are connected to the terror attack in New Orleans.
Fox's Eben Brown. In the last week of the old year, unemployment claims dropped to their lowest level since early last spring. First-time claims falling by 9,000 last week. More than 1.8 million people are getting unemployment benefits. Wall Street has turned lower. The Dow 250 points down. NASDAQ off 150. American is listening to Fox News.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Tons of clouds this afternoon with a few sprinkles of rain, 41. Tonight, clouds, maybe a light rain shower, even a sloppy wet snowflake. Before midnight, we are above freezing, but we do drop to 24. Friday, sunny and 32. Saturday, partly sunny, 32. We've got some snow and even some ice on tap late Saturday night, and Sunday, still lots of questions. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Okay, so it's after the holiday, and you got New Year's coming up, and you got to stay close to Ruler Foods because they have a New Year's 3-day sale that is wonderful. Go to rulerfoods.com for more information on that. But I'm talking to you right now about those things that you need to get back in your refrigerator, back in your pantry after the holidays, maybe some fresh fruit and produce to kind of even out all the sweets that you might have had. Okay, maybe you need sweets. I don't know. But Ruler Foods has it for less. Avocados and mango, 77 cents each. White seedless grapes. We can't keep enough grapes in our house. They go like crazy once they get into the refrigerator. Just $1.47 a pound. You can also save on Kroger 80% lean ground beef, sold in a 3-pound roll, just $3.97 a pound. And add to that 8-ounce Kroger shredded or bar cheese, 3 for $5. Saving on your groceries at Ruler Foods is simple. They carry the name brands you love, but they also have those Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. Find all of the ads of all the things that are on sale and your closest Ruler Foods at rulerfoods.com.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
My best friend Jenny came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. Well, my furnace broke and it's already late. Call Jerry Kelly cause they're open till 8. JerryKelly.com. They'll be here quick and have you feeling good. JerryKelly.com. Cause your furnace will be running like it should. They're certified technicians, I've been told. Will help you when it's hot and help you when it's cold. JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelly.com.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found. And we are working on confirming if it's a viable device or not.
Yeah, that's a member of the actual FBI telling us that. Just listen to it again and think, oh, that's the FBI?
This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found. And we are working on confirming if it's a viable device or not.
That sounds like my friend's son's girlfriend just giving us a briefing there. This is not a terrorist attack. This is the Annie Frey Show, but it's the Manny Frey Show today. Annie will be back on Monday. Ryan and Brad with you. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about this because if you were not paying attention at all, this might have jerked you back into paying attention to the news like it did me yesterday. Mm-hmm. I get some interesting takes on a couple of these things, so we'll give you the full report, of course. But if you've been paying attention, you already know the facts, and we'll give you a little bit more than just that here in this segment. Hans von Spakovksy coming up next, too. He's going to talk about our YouTube live chat poll today, which is, should Mike Johnson remain the Speaker of the House? House. That's going to be big news tomorrow. We'll, of course, be carrying that as it happens because there's going to be a vote to either confirm or deny Mike Johnson another term as Speaker of the House. So we'll follow that. That's today's poll question. Participate on that with us and Hans von Spakovksy coming up next here on the Annie Frey Show. But before we get there and dive into the facts and the different takes on these terrorist attacks, Brad, were you plugged in over the time you were off? Was this the first time you went, oh, okay, we got news now?
I mean, I would scroll Twitter every now and then, but I wasn't plugged in. So stuff like, the speaker fight, some of these other things that were going on. But really, that terrorist attack pulled me back in. As a matter of fact, I was more using Twitter for commenting on the college football playoff than I was anything. So my algorithm started to change and give me more football content. But this broke through.
Yeah, this did. And this was yesterday evening is when I first heard about it because I had been completely disengaged for not just Christmas, but I was here the day after Christmas, but we were doing a best of for the most part. We were hosting, but it was kind of like playing a clip show. And so since then, I've been out of it. And so yesterday afternoon, sitting on the couch, it rarely ever happens, as you know, Brad. When I first started on the Annie Frey Show, I did not realize how fast the hosts of these shows, Mark Cox, Mark Reardon, Annie Frey, how fast you get news because you are just in it all the time.
Yes.
You don't unplug, you go to sleep, and then sometimes you wake up and immediately start looking at news again. Like you don't stop. And you know that from being a producer.
Yeah.
But when I was new to 97.1, I would do things like send Annie a story, say, hey, have you seen this yet? And she'd be like, I saw that 4 days ago, you know? Or it would be brand new, and she'd say, I saw it 4 hours ago. I could never keep up with the hosts. So my wife has had, my learning curve has been that now I'm that way. You know, when we're moving, we always got to know what's going on and be able to comment on it. And I'm not necessarily the lead, but I'm here to comment and share my opinions on everything. So we got to be plugged in. So last night when my wife said that, she was like, I know that you've probably already seen this. It was one of the rare times I said, no, tell me what's going on. The terrorist attacks were kind of a big deal. I mean, this is not just because they're random. You put yourself in these situations, you know, whether you're in New Orleans. And that for me was very close because my wife, lived in New Orleans for several years.
My wife actually had gone to a couple conferences down there for her job, so she's familiar with it. I've never been, but...
So when they describe these places, as opposed to Las Vegas, those hit closer to home for me because I've been there, and she very much has been there. Now, these are famous places, too. It's not as if nobody's ever heard of the French Quarter in Louisiana. But, you know, the quick report here, if you're just tuning in, you're like, hey, I have been unplugged. A suspect plowed a truck through a crowd on Bourbon Street early Wednesday morning. So this would have been in the aftermath of New Year's. People are still celebrating. It was about 3:30 in the morning, I think, something like that. So this is, and when you're in New Orleans, that party is probably going till sunup.
Just doesn't stop.
Yeah. He is now, at the time of this report, it says 10 were killed. Now it says 15, and they're waiting on one more, possibly 16 killed in this one terrorist attack. I mean, this is a pretty big terrorist attack. Injured 35. The FBI released a statement midday that this guy, whose name is Shamsuddin Jabbar, is a citizen from Texas. And they confirmed he was carrying an ISIS flag in the truck, and authorities have said that he was dressed in military gear. The FBI said they also found weapons and a potential IED that were located in the vehicle. But then, of course, the FBI came out and said this.
This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if this is a viable device or not.
Now, I think this is at the same press conference.
Yes.
The New Orleans police chief, Ann Kirkpatrick, steps in. That's the federal, that's right. FBI saying that.
And I remember watching this press conference. She came on immediately after the FBI.
This police chief?
Yes.
Ann Kirkpatrick comes on right afterward. I love this. This is so great that she did this. And she goes, hang on, let me give a statement.
And as we know, this is not just an act of of terrorism. This is evil. And when we face evil, we have a choice. We can run in fear, or we can indeed stand in strength. In a time of crisis, people are looking for leadership. You are looking at the leadership. And I promise you, as the chief of police of this city has been tried by fire before. But fire purifies. Fire makes things stronger.
So glad she stepped up and said that right after these bumbling idiots at the top level. And I'm not talking about your local FBI agent. I'm talking about these woke people who are like, this is not a terrorist attack. Immediately after a guy drives a truck and kills 15 people, 35 injured, he gets out of the truck, is immediately shot by these heroic police officers. And I've heard a lot of people, before I put a finer point on this thing, I've heard a lot of people criticizing the police response to this thing. I can't believe that people are criticizing the police response to this thing, saying they should have been more ready. This is a very busy event, that you know that it's a high target zone. Man, I don't want to live in the America where everything you ever do is considered, well, you got to be more safe. You know, you can't walk on the sidewalk there because somebody could drive up and kill you. There's no way to protect against all that stuff.
The one big criticism that I heard, and I don't know all the details on this, but I saw people criticizing the city of New Orleans for not having their hydraulic vehicle barriers up. So apparently on this street, there are barriers, and I've seen these because whenever you go on a military base, they have these as well. It's basically a button, and this barrier comes up, and you can't drive through it.
Yep. They weren't working.
They weren't working. So I guess that's what happened, but the barriers weren't up to prevent this car from driving down that street.
It's tough. It's always hindsight, right?
Yeah.
I don't love that we live in a city right now where I can't drive down half the streets because they have concrete barricades on half of them, or they got those giant flower pots that you can't get through. And that's to stop crime. Like I get that why they do it. I just don't like that we have to do it. And we got to balance. This is a much bigger point here, but we got to balance between: are we going to be in a free society, or are we going to be in a safe society? Because a free society, there are going to be vulnerabilities.
Yes.
And the thing is, no matter how safe you decide to be, you're still going to have vulnerabilities. So criticizing the police to me on this is crazy.
Yeah.
And this is not just mainstream media. It's not just like barstool talk. I've heard right-wing pundits saying like, well, the police really dropped the ball, and mainly because of the issue you just brought up. But that's more politics. This is, if they were broken especially, that's because they're underfunded. I heard Kilmeade saying this is a police department that has not been funded well for years.
Well, and I don't even know that that's a police department issue. That is a city of New Orleans issue.
Exactly. That's the politics. That's what I mean, is the funding of the police department, same thing we're dealing with here, is not what it should be, because they don't value what they should value in the cities, the politicians in these places. Now, before we move on, have you been to New Orleans ever?
I have not.
So Bourbon Street is such a well-known street that I think a lot of people can picture themselves there. And that's why this one hits kind of close to home, is because you go, man, a lot of people I know, I personally have been there. New Orleans is such a strange city because if you're in the French Quarter, it does feel like it is a nonstop party. I've never been there during a holiday like that. I was there for Thanksgiving once and Black Friday. But even those, those aren't big party holidays.
Right.
But even then, there were just people walking around playing instruments. Like, these aren't paid musicians. These are just people, and they'll start a parade, and people will just get in a parade, and there'll be people walking with horns, playing tubas, and just having a great time. Everybody's walking around holding a margarita. It's a fun place to be. It's also a strange place because I've never seen anything like that, and it happens, I would say, almost every day in the French Quarter. There's just a parade that starts for no reason. It's not planned. It just happens. So there's all this activity always going on. Clearly it's a target. This guy's from Texas. He drives to New Orleans on New Year's Eve to make a point by driving and killing as many people in a popular area as he can. Now, that's the New Orleans one. The Las Vegas one is a bomber blew up a Tesla Cybertruck outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas. He's been identified as Army service member Matthew Livelsberger. He was 37, identified by law enforcement sources as the bomber in the attack on Wednesday that left 7 wounded. This was right after the other one. So this was not at the exact same time, but a few hours later than this attack happens. And it seems to be making a point. Whereas the first one was clearly intentional, this one, the guy's in a Tesla Elon Musk owned Cybertruck.
Yeah, the Cybertruck is kind of almost the flagship. It's the most recognizable thing.
Yeah.
Like if you think Cybertruck, you think Elon Musk, you can't really separate those two.
Exactly. And he parks outside of a Trump Tower and detonates these bombs. He's the only one who's killed. Now, there were a few injured. I think it's 7 injured. But he killed himself to, I guess, make a point that he doesn't like Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I mean, what other point is he trying to make here? I'm not sure, but he just suicided himself for the sake of symbolism, and nobody really knows what your point was other than you don't like the politics of these guys. I don't know, but it's a strange couple of events that happened just hours apart.
Yeah, just back and forth. And we don't, that investigation is still ongoing, and they're not really sure what the motivations are. There's reports that he was stationed at the same base as the other guy, but there's still no direct links, hard links made that they've at least released.
Yeah, and that's what's been very strange, because in this same report that I'm reading here about the Las Vegas terror attack, which is what it looks like, it says the FBI has said it does not think that Jabbar in New Orleans was solely responsible for the Bourbon Street attack. Authorities are conducting a number of court-authorized search warrants in New Orleans and other states investigating his potential associations and affiliations with other actors. Then right afterward, and this was just this morning, right after that, and then right before this show, again, we're following the news very closely. New Orleans terror attack, now the FBI confirms that Shamsud Din Jabbar did act alone already. So they're already flipping on their own reports that we're looking into it. Now we found out he's acting alone. So I guess they're not connecting these two things at all, which seems really early. Why would you issue that statement now? It's been a day.
It's the same way as that first clip you played where she comes out, that lady comes out and says, this isn't a terror attack.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you saw any pictures of it. The flag wasn't just in the truck.
The ISIS flag.
Right. It was flying from the truck.
Oh, he's making a point.
Yes.
Both of them are making points. To just go, well, these aren't terrorist attacks. You're an idiot. And you're trying to deceive people, or you're letting your own judgment cloud your work.
You know, and I know people are like, well, they're just following protocol, trying to be that. And it's like, if you're following protocol, you're not saying these aren't terrorist attacks.
Exactly.
You're saying we don't know the motivation yet.
Yes.
You're leaving the door open to that. But whenever you come out and you say these are not terrorist attacks, what you're doing is you're closing the door to that possibility. And then you have to walk that back. And that just ruins your credibility, especially if you're an organization like the FBI where you need that credibility. Because, how much confidence do you have right now? If the FBI comes out and says something, do you feel like, okay, they've got this under control?
Thank you for saying that. We're 20 days away from me having more confidence in the FBI because they've lost it. They keep doing crap like this. And maybe this is just some rant. Maybe if you're at the FBI, you go, oh, why is Susie out there? Susie shouldn't have said that, you know? Maybe that happens. I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's impossible. But this is not just random person in New Orleans, this report I just read. This is the FBI confirms the New Orleans terror attack. Shamsud Din Jabbar acted alone. This is an official statement. So that's not just random person. This is FBI saying this. That's ridiculous. Let me just real quick, because we got to get to Hans von Spakovksy here, summarize it's just a coincidence. These two things are independent of each other. They were two vehicle attacks on the same day within hours each other on New Year's Day. Both vehicles were rented via this Turo. I don't know if you've heard of them. I can go into that later because I have used Turo, but it's not a common rental company, and they both used that one. Both suspects are U.S. veterans who happen to serve at the same military base, and Kilmeade confirms they were in the same unit. What they haven't confirmed is whether they were in the same unit at the same time. But all of those things, if you say, no, they're not connected, those are such incredible coincidences that you'd be almost crazy to not believe that they're connected. That's too much.
At the very least, you have to say we have to look into this to investigate to see if there is possibly a connection.
Thank you. Because the FBI right now is saying, nah, not connected. Well, they're not even saying they're terrorist attacks.
Right.
Anyway, this is the Annie Frey Show. Annie will be back on Monday. We're going to talk to Hans von Spakovksy next about this YouTube live chat poll. Should Mike Johnson remain the Speaker of the House? That's big news that'll be happening tomorrow. But, of course, we're following the ins and outs of that today. Hans coming up next here on the Annie Frey Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Stewart's American Mortgage is the home of the bagel loan, and you are probably looking at your finances right now as the holiday season has wrapped up and gone, where can I make this better? If you call 314-324-4440, that's 314-324-4440, that's where you go to make your financial situation better. Ask Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage about a bagel loan refinance. When you talk to him about that bagel loan refinance, he can help you take your current mortgage with your interest rate being pretty high. He can maybe lower that interest rate and potentially do a cash out refinance. If you qualify for the bagel loan, you get to do all of that with zero closing costs. This is a no-brainer phone call or text message to send. He will help you from there. And I promise you that if what he has to offer can't actually make your financial situation better, he'll tell you that too. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Call my friend Stewie. Google the bagel loan. NMLS number 226715.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero Res, and how about the biggest sale ever in celebration of the new year? Leave all of the 2024 dirt behind with the new year. Out the door 24. Let's start the year fresh in 2025. And here's the deal. 24% off all cleaning services for the month of January when you mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk. If you didn't get it done last year, this is a great opportunity to take advantage of an awesome offer for 2025. Anything in your home, the carpets, the tiles, the rugs, the upholstery, every surface can be Zero Resified. So this is the time in January to call the cleaning pros at Zero Res. Don't forget the air ducts, too. That's really important, helps alleviate allergies or asthma, and you want to enjoy less dust, lower energy bills, and your home's going to stay cleaner longer. Take advantage. 24% off all cleaning services for the month of January when you mention 97.1 FM Talk or my name. 474-2020 or online, ZeroResSTL.com. Don't miss this offer. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. If you have a furnace that needs service, a heat pump that needs repairs, or a boiler that needs to be replaced, contact Air Comfort Service. They offer 24/7 emergency heating service too. AirComfortService.com.
It's a January tradition. The Mark Cox Morning Show will be broadcasting live from the Missouri State Capitol Wednesday, January 8th for the first day of the legislative session. Sponsored by Golden Oak Lending. Homeowners get cash in as little as 14 days at Golden Oak Lending.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
To get away from your parents, and I thought, wow, if I could take this in a shot right now, I don't think that we could work this out.
We're going to get this done. Look, I'm humbled and honored to have President Trump's endorsement for the role again, as well as the endorsement of leaders across the conservative spectrum and the Republican Party, all of my colleagues that are standing with us, and we will get this done. Look, the things that we're talking about this morning are an illustration that we live in very serious times. We cannot afford any palace drama here. We have got to get the Congress started, which begins tomorrow, and we have to get immediately to work. We have to certify the election of President Donald J. Trump on January 6th, on Monday. And we have many important things pressing on us right now. So there's no time to waste. We have to stay unified. The American people gave us a mandate. You know, President Trump got 77 million votes. We got almost 75 million for House Republicans, the largest number ever. And they have sent us a message that they want us to begin fixing all of this.
You're perfect.
You're a form of our perfect union.
Heritage legal expert Hans von Spakovksy.
Hans, this is Ryan Wiggins filling in for Annie Frey. Thanks for being here on the second day of the year.
Well, Ryan, thanks for having me. And, boy, it looks like we're going to have a very exciting start to the new year between the Speaker's election on Friday and Monday, the certification of the new president.
Okay, I got to start with the big, everybody's asking question. Could this delay the certification of the Donald Trump's presidency being certified on Monday?
Potentially, yes. I mean, I don't think we've ever had this happen before. I know there's a lot of questions about certain members of the House who have said they potentially won't vote for Speaker Johnson. I actually think he's going to get elected on Friday. I actually would be shocked if he's not, because I think the few members who have voiced questions about it know that the wrath of the conservative world, I think, would descend on them if they somehow cause a delay in the certification on Monday.
So, Hans, walk us through the nuts and bolts of this thing. This is, I'm assuming, something that happens every 2 years?
It does happen every 2 years at the start of the newest congressional session. And the new congressional session is scheduled to start tomorrow, January 3rd. And at that session, they have to, all the members of the House have to elect who their new speaker is going to be, because it's the speaker that basically runs the House. And so keep in mind that the whole reason we have this issue come up is because, listen, Republicans will be starting this session with one of the narrowest margins in modern history, with just a couple of votes more than the Democrats. I think it's 5, although they've had several individuals. They're going to have special elections, as you know, like for Matt Gaetz down in Florida. And so with that narrow margin, it gives a small handful of individuals the ability to throw a monkey wrench into the proceedings if they want to.
So, Hans, with that in mind, what would it take for Speaker Johnson to not be elected Speaker? Or could this go a few rounds and then they make some concessions and then, either way we end up with somebody by the end of the day tomorrow?
I think that is possible. Remember, the last time this happened, part of what was going on was that some of the objectors wanted to get key positions on certain committees like the Rules Committee, not because they were personally ambitious, but because they hoped, for example, the Rules Committee really lays out the agenda for the House, which bills are going to be considered. And the conservatives who were working on that were hoping that would allow them to push more conservative bills to be considered by the House. So, yeah, there may be negotiating going on behind the scenes to ensure a quick vote on Friday. But even if not, I actually think by the end of the day, we'll have a speaker.
Hans von Spakovksy is on the phone with us, senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation. President Trump has been very much in support of Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House. And constitutionally speaking, that makes sense because, and you can confirm or deny this, but it seems to me that if you're the president and you have both chambers of Congress, which they do in the Senate and the House, getting the House on board is kind of a big deal for your agenda. But like you said, it's such a narrow majority that is this where Trump's agenda could get stalled a little bit, is in the House?
Oh, yeah, because it will only take a small handful of Republicans defecting and voting with the Democrats to stop key provisions. So the Republicans are going to control the Senate, they're going to control the House, but the margin will be so narrow in the House that it may make things difficult for President Trump. That's a situation where he really is going to have to use the mandate that he received, right? Over 77 million voters, really an overwhelming victory. He has to use that as his point of pressure to try to get the House to do the kind of things he wants, one of the most important of which, as you know, is to extend the Trump tax cuts, which are about to end from his first, that he got passed in his first term.
Hans, when they passed the budget, now this is weird stuff because it feels like these are big news items, but they're happening over the Christmas holiday, so they're not getting as much scrutiny or as attention as they normally would. But when they passed that budget, they just kicked the can down to March, correct?
Yeah, the continuing resolution that they simply said, we are going to continue the current funding of the government through the end of March and not pass an actual budget.
So that was just giving them, in theory, time to set things up like extending the Trump tax cuts and hopefully doing a lot of other cuts, right?
That is exactly right, yes.
Let's switch gears real quick, Hans. Let's talk about the border. Here's a clip from Tom Homan.
I got no confidence the administration is going to be honest with us and read us, and they've been lying about this from day one, lying every day from the White House podium about the border being secured. I am grateful President Trump got reelected. President Trump's going to come in office, and we're going to secure that border. We're going to run a deportation operation. We concentrate, prioritize public safety threats and national security threats. I think this country is about to get a lot safer under President Trump.
You know, Hans, polling-wise, this was one of the main issues that has propelled Trump back into the presidency. Just based on what you're hearing from Tom Homan, what is Trump going to be able to do, and I guess by extension Tom Homan, starting day one?
Well, folks need to remember that for the 4 years of the first Trump administration, he put in a whole series of things, everything from building a wall, building secure facilities at border crossings to prevent people from coming over, to doing things like putting in the Remain in Mexico policy. That was a policy that said that if you showed up at a port of entry and claimed asylum, you had to stay in Mexico while your asylum claim was being investigated rather than being released into the country. And the reason for that was that 90% of asylum claims are fraudulent. The end result of that was, if you look at the 4 years of Trump, the number of illegals crossing the border went steadily down. The Biden administration canceled all of that, and in the first year of the Biden administration, more aliens crossed the border than in the entire 4 years of the first Trump administration. So if he simply repeats what he did during his first 4 years, we will see a major reduction in the number of aliens illegally crossing the border.
Hans von Spakovksy is on the phone with a senior legal fellow at Heritage. You know, the big argument from Biden and Harris during the campaign season, not for the first 3.5 years, but during the campaign, was that they would do something. They would love to secure the border, but Republicans and Congress, and really just Congress in general, didn't pass a bill, and so they couldn't really do anything. Does Congress need to pass a bill, spending or otherwise, for Trump to begin to fix this problem?
No. The simple answer is no. That was a lie by Joe Biden, and I'll give you a very specific example of that. He said that if that bill got passed, he would close down the border immediately with an executive order, but he couldn't do it unless that bill was passed. That was a totally false statement. The president currently has the power under federal law to shut down the border and prevent entry of any and all aliens from one country or a group of countries. So that was just a lie by the Biden administration. They very deliberately got rid of the policies that Trump had put in place in the first administration because they wanted as many illegal immigrants to come across the border as possible, because that was just that's part of their DNA. They think that's the way we should be doing things.
Hey, Hans, this is Brad. I had a quick question. The border question got me thinking about this. HB2 in the last session is one of the first things that the Republican-led House passed. Kind of went into the Senate and died. Could they revive that bill and run that through the Senate? Would that make it through the Senate this time around?
It would make it through the Senate unless Democrats try to filibuster it. I think they could. They can resubmit the bill. They could pass it in the House. They could send it over the Senate. Whether they could overcome a filibuster, I don't know the answer to that. And that means that we would get a first good test of Senator Thune as to whether he could keep his caucus together, since Republicans now have a majority. Can he keep them together to get it passed? And I don't know the answer to that. But look, that bill is needed. It would be a big help. But just reversing the current policies of the Biden administration without even any further legislation would do a lot to help solve the illegal alien population problem.
Okay, Hans, we got a couple minutes here, and Annie does this to you all the time, and now Brad's got me doing it to you. So, hypothetically, when she starts a sentence that way, I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm listening, hypothetically. But he just brought up an issue that I'm like, wow, I wonder if that's ever been done before, and you'd be the guy to know. If you have a Congress that under one president, like under President Biden, if you had what we have now, House led by Republicans, Senate led by Democrats. Let's say that Trump was coming into office and that was going to flip, where the Senate would now be led by Republicans instead, but the House would be led by Democrats. That's not the case, but let's say it was. Could the House, at the end of its term, pass a bill, send it to the Senate, and the Senate hold on and vote for it after Republicans took it over?
No, because at the end of 2 years, when the congressional session ends, all bills that haven't passed die.
Okay. See, now we know, because Brad brought that up. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if that's ever been done before. The answer is no, that's never been done before, because you can't. Hans, thank you for settling these crazy questions that we have every week here on the Eddie Frey Show.
I'm always happy to do it.
Appreciate your time, and Happy New Year. Hans von Spakovksy, Senior Legal Fellow at the Heritage Foundation. It's funny because a lot of these issues we've never thought of until now. You know, I'm not that one is like the top of people's minds, but there's so many constitutional questions that we've had in the last 5-6 years, probably beyond that, 8 years, and because the limits of the way everything has been set up are being tested.
What's really super exciting to me, at least, is the limits are being tested, but what we're seeing is the Constitution works.
Yeah.
You know, like I was telling you about this. I was listening to a podcast, and they were kind of doing a best of, and this particular person was talking to another person who was like very hung up on the January 6th thing. Trump tried to overthrow an election. He didn't concede. But like, if you look at what happened over the last 4 years, Joe Biden was the president. Donald Trump left the White House. The constitutional process held up. Democracy wasn't threatened. It wasn't.
Right.
Because it worked the way it should work. We looked at things like OSHA, and does OSHA have the right to impose?
That's right where I was going.
Vaccine mandates.
You've got it, and part of that, a big part of this has been the Supreme Court. Because if the Supreme Court had swung left, a lot of these constitutional protections, they wouldn't have immediately died. They would have been whittled away. And we saw these tests happen, but for the most part, right has won. The hard part is that it takes time.
Yeah.
So in the midst of an unconstitutional thing happening, like in Illinois, where they tried to pass stuff that's against the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
That's not the Second Amendment as you know it. That is the Second Amendment to the Bill of Rights to the U.S. Constitution. Yes. That's not just like right-wing talking points. This is the Constitution.
Right.
And they're trying to pass laws, and they have, that are unconstitutional. Well, they know that they are, but then they know that, the process takes a while. So the system does work. It's just that there's a lag.
Yes. Well, I mean, you even, like, for the leftists out there that want abortion, whenever the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, what didn't happen was a nationwide ban on abortion. What did happen is we went back to the constitutional process of this is a state's issue that is solved at a state's level. And what we're seeing is that the people are making their voices heard on this topic, and they're voting the way that they're voting. I may disagree with you on the way that you're voting on this topic, but you are voting on this, not 9 people in robes on the Supreme Court.
Which is why it was never a law. It was a made-up
Yeah, out of thin air.
Verdict that stood for almost 40 years, something like that. I don't remember the actual number that it was once Roe was overturned, but that's why it just went away. And that's why Democrats thrashed and wailed after the fact that they go, oh my gosh, how many times in the last 40 years have we had a majority that we could have passed an actual law?
You know what, though?
And they didn't.
I don't think that was an accident.
I don't either.
You can't run on it if you pass a law and fix it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is the Annie Frey Show, and hey, welcome back to work. If you are out and about today listening to us, we're back too. We've been gone for about a week, kind of hit and miss, some best subs, but we are live today here on the second day of January, getting back into the swing of things. It is 12:43, and we got Wiggins America coming up next. See how that's going to work, because Ethan's leading it, so stick around.
Away with everything, let's show them we are better. Let's show them we are better.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Let's show them we are better. We're staying in Paris.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Is your furnace running exactly how it should be? Maybe you feel like it's not even working at all? Well, I want you to call Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation and find out how they can help you. 314-513-0091. You might be thinking it's January, it's put it off month, you've spent everything you had in December, bills are coming due. Don't heat your home in an unsafe way, though. Don't put off repairs that are going to cause the situation to be unsafe or to mount into bigger bills down the road. Call the team at Air Comfort Heating, Cooling, and Insulation for only $19 a month. You can become a preferred partner. And with their preferred partner plan, you get routine HVAC system checks, 2 each year, and they call and remind you to schedule them. You'll also get discounts on service calls, repairs, and new equipment, plus priority service, all for just $19 a month. Like I said, give them a call at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091, or hit them up online at aircomfortservice.com.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up! Oscar!
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com.
Selling your home? Every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. Check out the only agents I trust. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll: should Mike Johnson remain Speaker of the House? Yes or no? We want to hear what you think, so jump on Annie's YouTube page. Yep, we're back on Annie's YouTube channel, so jump on there. You got to subscribe to chat, but subscribe, chat, tell us what you think, and then vote in the poll, and tell us why you voted the way you voted. The time is 12:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind, let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
Annie Frey Show, Manny Frey Show, whatever you want to call it. It's just the dudes today. We are sans Annie on the Annie Frey Show. Brad, Ryan, and producer Ethan in the studio. Ethan, you know, I don't praise you very often because I don't really care for you very much. But,
it's the nicest thing you may have ever said to me.
Well, I had to set this up because you know that if I'm going to give you a compliment, I genuinely mean it.
Well, yes, and it tends to be an insult sandwich?
Yes,
right? So
it's
there's
the anti-Oreo.
Insult on the front end, insult on the back end, but I would say probably 40% of the time those insults are jokes, and the compliment is legit.
Mm-hmm. And this is like a double stuff Oreo because there's lots of compliment.
Oh, wow.
While Brad and I were off gallivanting for the holidays.
Yes.
Which I don't know that we've ever referred to it as that, but we are now.
And we were doing this separately, not together.
Yeah, we weren't gallivanting together.
No.
We were gallivanting separately.
You weren't gallivanting in Disney World.
No.
No, we would never. Well, except for that once, but aside from that. But no, the compliment is the whole time we were off, Ethan's been here pretty much the entire time. And not just holding down the ship for the Annie Frey show, but also the Mark Reardon show. The day that I came in, Brad, and did... we were live, but we were doing kind of like a clip show of the best. So we'd talk a little bit and then we'd throw to it. And it wasn't entirely like the funniest of the year, but it was mostly the funniest stuff of the year that I chose because it was just fun. That whole day, not only was Ethan running the board, and I'm like, Ethan, what do you think about this? He's doing the Mark Reardon show, preparing it while we're talking, and then basically hosting it by himself a few days. I listened while I was off a couple times, and I was like, you and Sue are just hosting the show. You're not even doing you guys are just doing a show.
Well, there were definitely, you try to get as close to the time as possible to be able to have the best ofs be everything.
Right.
But I was basically doing what you did, where you talk on the front and back end, and sometimes you okay, we don't have a time to play a full segment here, so we're going to just have to fill for a few minutes. And we mixed in a couple of live interviews. Mark gave me kind of the reins to have some sports people join, so that was kind of fun. But yes, the best way that I could say it for those couple of days, like the scene in Braveheart where Mel Gibson's just screaming like, hold!
Oh, no. Don't even compare yourself.
Hold! That was how I was like, just hold, get to the weekend, just hold. That's how I felt I was.
Yeah, I love when people start with like, you know what it felt like for me? I felt like Mel Gibson in Braveheart. That's what it was like being me for the last few days.
Well,
I felt like Spider-Man in front of the train, just holding.
But my praise isn't just, man, what a hard-working guy. It's that you got it done, and I was listening, honestly, it was good.
It was good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
it was good. It was really fun to listen to Mark Reardon show. Now, I was, Annie Frey show, I participated in doing a lot of those best ofs, but listen to you do that.
If you thought that was good, then you just get ready for this week. It's America.
All right, well, let's get to it. Brad
Wiggins! Wiggins!
Can I just say before I start is I was walking in here and I was just scrolling on the socials real quick, and I found a video of a New Year's Eve ball drop that goes down in Idaho, and it was just a giant potato that they just dropped from a crane.
Wait. How big was the potato?
I mean, it looked pretty decent size.
They just dropped the potato?
I mean, like
compare it to a human head.
Oh, I mean, like probably like 12 to 15 times the size. I mean, like
bigger than a human head?
Yeah, I'm not saying it was a real potato, but like I mean, no, but like
Just
it was
ruined Ryan's day.
made to look like a potato. But you just in front of the Capitol, they just have this giant crane and they just drop it at midnight, and that's their.
Oh, it
ball
doesn't
drop.
go down slowly.
It didn't look like it went down slowly,
like pushing it off the top of a building.
New Year!
Here comes big potato. It's not
so,
real.
If anyone is looking for a new spot to go for, New Year's, I recommend Idaho.
Okay, what part of Idaho?
The capital? I don't know. What's
Oh,
the
it's in
capital?
Boise?
Is that
Okay.
the capital?
Yeah.
Boise? Okay. Should we get going with this? Okay.
It's up to you.
When to take a mental health day is today's...
This is important. This is important because we've all, we're all getting back into work. And we've been working for almost an hour.
Yeah, so we got to
I'm
start
ready
looking at this.
Yeah.
Well, then this is perfect timing. So this article is written, it's on prevention.com. It's written by Madeline Hasse. And it starts off, I think it's important to read this first paragraph to you guys. We all deal with varying levels of stress in our day-to-day, but feelings of burnout should not be ignored. So if you notice that you're feeling overwhelmed, inundated, or like you are just trying to stay afloat, and you're feeling like your stress levels are at an 11, it might be wise to devote some time to reset by taking a mental health day from your daily responsibilities and never-ending to-do list.
When you were wondering when the other side of the Oreo was coming?
Right here.
I wasn't just praising you because I thought, oh, I want to give him, some kudos and lift him up a little bit. I just want you to know that if I start to feel burned out, like say at 112, you did a good enough job that it's on you now.
Oh,
you're going to
gotcha.
take over.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
You're giving me permission right now during Wiggins America talking about all this burnout.
I don't think that's what I'm doing.
You wouldn't be alone, Ethan. I got you.
You want to talk about how I would feel honestly a little bit complimented that this segment impacted you enough to where you're just gone.
How do we? So I'm assuming you are going to tell us how to avoid burnout or something along those lines.
More so just how to go about this process of taking mental health days because there's vacation days, there's sick days, but there isn't any days for the mentally sick.
Does it tell you how to approach your boss and say, I am not going on vacation. I feel fine physically, but I'm just going to take a couple days.
Well, it kind of does. There is a part of this article that is titled How to Ask for a Mental Health Day Off Work. But by the time I was done reading it, I didn't feel any better about walking up to Steve Moore and saying, Steve, I just need a day to just reflect and to just take a breather.
Whether it be Steve, our boss, or your own boss when you're listening, would you recommend, regardless of who it is, walking up to them and just reading this? Like, do you think that would help?
No, because it's not quite in quotation. There are a couple of quotation things in here, but actually it says to go to HR first. It says to go to HR first. Yeah, we could just skip to that part, Ryan.
This seems like a big process.
If you have an available, it says personal or sick day. Dr. Sharma, one of the doctors involved in this article, recommends taking advantage of the benefits that are available to you. After all, they're there for a reason. If you don't have these benefits available to you, speak to your boss about it or to your HR department. And remember, your mental health is a perfectly good reason to take a day off, and that is okay.
Isn't that required by law in Illinois?
I tell you what, it's required by Odyssey. Odyssey does lots of mental health stuff, and we run a mental health special. I can't remember the name of it. Is it I'm Listening every year. And so if you work at Odyssey, I can almost guarantee you that if you request off for mental health, your boss may be like, I don't want to let you off, but I am going to have to.
Says you don't need to provide detailed explanations about your mental health, but you can be clear and direct about your need for time off.
So if your boss goes, what's wrong with you? You don't have to say?
Basically, this says that their usual recommendation for what to say is something like this. I'm feeling overwhelmed and need a day to focus on my well-being. I'd like to take a personal day to recharge.
Trisha is coming in.
I thought that was Saturday and
Sunday. Okay? No, that could be any day. Trisha's coming in for Andy, are you okay during the 2 o'clock hour? Ethan, I want you to make that request to her live.
Okay.
And make it for tomorrow. Okay. Something really fast that people are going to be scrambling to fill your shift for.
Well, I'm not feeling amazing today, so there's an actual
what really
semi-possibility that
we're on the radio right now, and she's probably listening. So she's going to know ahead of time that it's all just a ruse. Hey, hello there. We're the Andy Frey Show today. This is the Manny Frey Show. Thanks for tuning in. That was Wiggins America, and went really well, I must say. Great job.
That insult sandwich. It's going to taste great on the other side.
We'll be right back with Jeff Monosso from Fox News Radio.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Honesty, integrity, humility, purpose. We're looking for people that share these values. As an officer in the Springfield, Missouri Police Department, you'll train in a state-of-the-art facility, learn special skills, and most importantly, learn that being humble through it all builds a better community. Our next training academy starts soon. Work hard and dedicate yourself to the craft, and I promise you'll have some amazing opportunities. Visit gospd.com for more information. That's gospd.com. Brought to you by the Springfield, Missouri Police Department.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at biobalancehealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. biobalancehealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The FBI now says the New Orleans attacker did it by himself. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. The FBI says Samshuddin Jabbar acted alone in the New Year's attack on Bourbon Street. Earlier reports of a man and a woman potentially placing explosive devices now disproven.
The FBI says its bomb technicians recovered 2 functioning IEDs that were inside coolers at 2 different intersections in the French Quarter, and that surveillance video showed Jabbar placing those devices before his attack.
Fox's Garrett Tenney. The FBI also says Jabbar killed 14 people. He then died in a shootout with police. The crime scene cleared. The city of New Orleans is reopening Bourbon Street just before the Sugar Bowl today. Mayor LaToya Cantrell.
I want to reassure the public that the city of New Orleans is not only ready for game day today, but we're ready to continue to host large-scale events in our city because we are built to host at every single turn.
Federal agents are searching a home in Colorado Springs, thought to be tied to the Las Vegas Trump Tower bomber, now identified as Matthew Livelsberger, an active-duty U.S. Army soldier. There are similarities in the attacks, but FBI Counterterrorism Deputy Director Christopher Reyes says,
at this point, there is no definitive link between the attack here in New Orleans and the one in Las Vegas.
The Tesla Cybertruck that blew up in Las Vegas, packed with fireworks mortars and gas canisters, had been rented in Colorado and then driven to Vegas in the hours before the explosion. Israel's military says it has attacked and destroyed medium-range rocket launchers at a Hezbollah military site in southern Lebanon. They've also taken out the man they describe as the Hamas security chief in southern Gaza with an airstrike in Han Yunis. America is listening to Fox News.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Tons of clouds this afternoon with a few sprinkles of rain, 41. Tonight, clouds, maybe a light rain shower, even a sloppy wet snowflake. Before midnight, we are above freezing, but we do drop to 24. Friday, sunny and 32. Saturday, partly sunny, 32. We've got some snow and even some ice on tap late Saturday night, and Sunday, still lots of questions. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
The T.R. Hughes Homes for the Holidays display and inventory sale is going on now through the rest of the year. Hi, I'm Jason Hughes with T.R. Hughes Homes, and we have several quick move homes ready for immediate move-in. Save up to $50,000 on a brand new move-in ready home in one of our 4 beautiful communities. Come see why T.R. Hughes is St. Charles and now Warren County's premier home builder. Move-in ready, up to $50,000 in savings just in time for the holidays. Visit trhughes.com for details. That's trhughes.com.
The countdown to Inauguration Day is on, and 97.1 is your transition team headquarters. Every day one executive action. It's all here. Trump's second term is coming soon on 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I've spoken to every member of the agency, from the CIA to our national security team, to our FBI, NSC, and we're gathering all the, and I spent a lot of time with the government, with the mayor.
So that sounded like it was from Biden doing, a couple questions. Is that right, Brad? Did he actually take a couple questions there?
Yeah, that was initially before he did the press conference.
So that press conference was rough.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch that.
It was only 4 minutes long.
4 minutes long, prepared statements. He really struggled to get through it, and gave us no.
And he was
information.
definitely reading off a teleprompter. And if you listen to this clip that we've got, you see if you can pick out the point where the teleprompter goes out on him.
The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill. The ISIS flag was found in his vehicle, which he rented to conduct this attack. Possible explosives were found in the vehicle as well, and more explosives were found nearby. The situation is very fluid, and the investigation has a preliminary stage. And the fact is that right now, excuse me. There you go.
Would be there.
The law enforcement and intelligence community are continuing to look for any connections, associations, or co-conspirators. We have nothing additional to report at this time. The investigation is continuing to be active, and no one should jump to conclusions.
I understand that. Is there anybody genuinely in America who thinks that he's running the ship? There are paid influencers out there.
Yeah,
who,
for
that's
sure.
what
But
they
they
say,
genuinely believe it? No. And I said I would think especially the people that are closest to him know that he's not.
Yeah. Yeah. And apparently the circle of people who are close to him is very small and doesn't include his cabinet. This is all stuff, again, that was coming out kind of over the holiday right before Christmas, was we were hearing all this about people, I don't know if it was kind of whispered or if it was people actually coming out and saying on record that, yeah, he doesn't really talk to us. The whole cabinet's kind of in the dark about everything. I don't know. Jeff Monosso is joining us from Fox Radio here in just a minute, and we're going to talk a little bit more, find out some more facts about everything happening in these two terrorist attacks. Jeff Monosso on the phone with us. Jeff, thanks for being here.
You got it. Good to be with you.
So we're watching this live report right now happening from Las Vegas about that terrorist attack. Apparently, Elon Musk very much involved in the information gathering there. Is that right?
Perhaps what this suspect didn't realize is that those trucks are basically those vehicles, Tesla vehicles. I mean, they're constantly rolling on footage. They've got cameras all over the place, and so every time this guy would have recharged it, and perhaps other situations, it's on tape, it's on film. And anything having to do with his trek from Colorado to Las Vegas is information that Tesla has that he's been sharing with these investigators who we don't know what they're saying just yet, but right now, it obviously is a terror investigation that coincidentally happened at the same time, essentially, or just hours after the New Orleans attack. Now, what we're told is at this point there is no connection between the two, although you talk to a lot of smart people and they'll tell you there's no such thing as coincidence. But we've also learned this morning that there were reports that these two knew each other, that they'd served together, but the latest is that there really is no evidence that from their military service to make a connection. Both the New Orleans terrorist and this guy in Vegas, they served at formerly Fort Bragg, but there was at different times. And for context, there's more than 50,000 U.S. service members currently stationed there. But the investigation is ongoing. The latest really right now is I can tell you that Bourbon Street, after the carnage was cleared and it's been cleaned up, it has just reopened. They had a band marching down. Sounded very much like quintessential Bourbon Street. And this is less than 48 hours after so much death and destruction and that terrorist attack that left 14 people dead, plus the gunman, and dozens injured. The investigation is ongoing, but what's weird is that after initially saying that the attack was not a terrorist event and then saying it was, that there were other suspects, the FBI now says it was not, or at least the terror suspect acted alone and on behalf of ISIS, for which there was an ISIS flag on the back of his vehicle, that he was radicalized, left videos behind. So it's still a fluid situation. They are still searching a nearby property in New Orleans, looking for potential evidence. I know that they've secured laptops and phones. They're obviously going through that, through the data, through surveillance video. They've searched the suspect's home in Houston. That's now been cleared. The suspect in Las Vegas, his home has been searched, and we're just getting the word that the yellow police tape is being taken down and that area is being cleared. So still so many moving parts and so many questions, but this is the day where, now we're starting to see the images and of the people and the names of the people affected by this and those killed and injured, and it's pretty heartbreaking stuff.
Yeah, it's a strange way to say Happy New Year, is to see news like this happen in multiple places across the country. Jeff Monosso, Fox News Radio, on the phone with us. You mentioned the FBI statements. I was actually going to ask you a little bit more about that. You've covered a lot of events where officials come out and they make official statements to the press. We were talking about this in the first hour here about an hour ago. It seems strange that the FBI would come out and make such definitive statements about these things so early. Is that par for the course?
There was a couple of strange things. First of all, I'll say this: for the FBI, I think that it was based off of information that several individuals left behind improvised explosive devices on Bourbon Street, and two were found, but the FBI now says they were actually placed there by this suspect earlier. And they were in coolers, and so people would pass by and stop and look at them, and perhaps that was it. I'm not going to speak for them. But they did, in fact, say that he was the person who actually put them there. But what was interesting, early on yesterday, almost right away, they were able to identify him, and they admitted that, in fact, yes, people on X, users on X, were absolutely right that there was an ISIS flag there. I thought that was information that they would suppress, knowing typical FBI and how they've dealt with the press over the last several some odd years, but they came out with it and told us what we already knew hours earlier from X, and there is something to be said about what Elon says and how X seems to be first a lot of times in terms of news, but people were demanding answers, and they got them yesterday. But this is an investigation that is nationwide. Obviously, things right away are going to be reported that may not be accurate. That's typical in stories that move so fast as these and that are as big as these, like the truck, the information about it crossing the U.S.-Mexican border. It was a rental truck. It was pinged to Eagle Pass several times, which may indicate a connection to human smuggling, but that, the driver, the suspect wasn't necessarily the driver at that point. But the investigation is ongoing, and safety is at the forefront now, especially in New Orleans, where the Sugar Bowl is about to get underway, where a national security event like the Super Bowl is set to take place in a matter of weeks, and where we've already heard from not only local, state, and federal partners that security will be upgraded even more so following this attack.
Jeff, it's been a day and a half now, so still, pretty new stories here. But are they looking? Especially the guy in Las Vegas. He's driving a Tesla. He parks outside of Trump Tower, clearly making some sort of statement. Are they looking for any manifesto or some sort of message that this guy was trying to send?
Yeah, I mean, there's already some reports that I haven't verified, so I'm not going to talk about it in terms of politics and his relationship to that stuff. I haven't verified it. Those things go, but yeah, I mean, it's probably not a mistake that it was a Tesla truck, and perhaps that it was outside of a Trump hotel in Vegas, which, by the way, didn't receive a scratch based on
That's incredible.
How strong that Tesla truck was. But, maybe it was a situation where you thought it was an electric truck, and obviously they burn at a really high rate, do a lot of damage. In addition to the explosives, the gasoline, other canisters, gas canisters, and fireworks that were on board in the back of that truck. But he was the only one to die. And so, yes, that's what they're looking for, computers and cell phones. They're looking for the digital footprint of these individuals in, the past conversations, texts, communications, what they were searching for online, and any affiliation with potentially anybody else involved. But right now we're told, at least in the case of New Orleans, that he acted alone. We'll have to wait and see.
Jeff Monosso, last question for you. We're seeing reports that both of these guys happened to rent their vehicles from Turo, which is, not the most common. I've used it, but I know most people haven't. And then reports that they at least the guy in New Orleans had to drive pretty far from where he got the car. Is there any is there any connection with where did they both happen to pick him up similarly, like places, or with just both through Turo?
So this is exactly the point. This is why, I'm not even going to say conspiracy theorist. I think just people in general are going to stop and say, wait a minute. It's the same app. Turo that these vehicles were rented from. They both served at Fort Bragg, or now it's Fort Liberty now. But the military is saying, there was no overlap in their assignments there, so they weren't there together. But there's a lot of coincidence, and it also happened to be on the same day. You know what I know, my friend, and we're trying to dig up and confirm, any other details that we get. But right now, this is what the FBI, the ATF, even the White House are saying. The investigation is obviously ongoing. Numerous resources are being poured into both of these situations. Of course, Donald Trump, who enters office in about 18 days, has something else to say, and he's been pretty vocal on his Truth Social, blasting the current administration in terms of the safety failures that he alleges under this current administration. And so that's a battle that's going to continue as well. This will probably leak into politics, as most stories do. But the bottom line is, 14 people are dead, and many are fighting for their lives. And New Orleans is trying to do what it does and getting back to normal so quickly, with still so many questions to be answered about exactly who these people were. How the heck did they get radicalized as former army soldiers? The story behind that, and there's a lot more digging to do.
Right. Yeah, Jeff Monosso, thank you so much for keeping a vigilant eye on it and reporting back to us, Fox News Radio. Jeff Monosso, appreciate your time.
You bet.
So he mentioned there the statements that Trump has made on Truth Social. I'd like to read those when we come back because they are pulling no punches. So we'll talk about that behind the break. But real quick, that Turo thing, I meant to get to this earlier in the show, but have you ever used Turo?
I've never used it, but it's like a car sharing
thing.
So
it's not a traditional rental car company.
Right, so that Tesla, that truck was somebody's truck. That it's kind of like Airbnb for cars.
Yeah, so he didn't have to go buy a truck. He rented a truck from a user. Like somebody owned this truck. It wasn't a company.
That's somebody else's truck.
Somebody's truck that he basically paid to borrow for a day and then blew it up and then killed himself in the process. That guy. The other guy, I don't remember what kind of car it was, but it was same app.
It was an F-150. It was a truck.
It was Turo, and not that I'm not calling out Turo. They don't have anything to do with this. They're just a rideshare app, but not in this typical sense where it's not like Uber where you call a ride and somebody drives up and you get in the back seat. This is you actually renting the car from the owner of the car.
Right.
And I have done this in Florida once because I saw that this was a thing and I thought, oh, maybe this is going to become a whole new thing. Like I wished I had done Airbnb earlier because when it first starts, there are all kinds of incentives to use it. And I'm like, good deals. Now everybody knows about it. And so it's basically the same as getting a hotel, sometimes more expensive. But I thought, well, if I use Turo now, maybe I get on the ground floor and, it'll be cheaper for a couple of years because I travel, try to take weekend trips. This was a trip to Florida with my daughter back in August of 23. And I thought, I'll give it a try because they're at the airport there too. So it's I think it's probably an app that works really well if you want to borrow a car. Like if you're going to move and you want to borrow a truck.
Yeah.
That would be ideally to me the way you'd use Turo. Using it at an airport was a little cumbersome because you got to talk a lot more to the owner than if you were just picking up a car from Enterprise. And so that made it more difficult. And then when we got the car, it was parked, in a different lot because it's not the rental car.
Right.
So you got to figure out where that is, figure out where the car is. Ultimately, it wasn't that hard. It was just more steps. And then we get in the car, and God love my daughter. She's just like my wife, where they like nice things. They're, my sons would have been like, oh, who cares? We get in the car. There's like cigarette burns on the seat.
Yeah, it's somebody else's car.
It's not a rental car. And so we sit down. She was young enough that I was able to tell her like, they just didn't really, clean this one as well. I didn't tell her the whole backstory of using Turo.
This is dude's car down the
street. She's like, oh, okay. And so she kind of accepted it, but she was, I don't know about this. And she was right. It was a little sketch, but that was the one experience with using Turo that I've had. And both of these guys, again, it's such a strange thing for both of them to have used because it's not that well known. I guess if you're going to do this type of terror attack, it would make sense for them to borrow a car rather than buy a car.
Yeah. There are two things come to mind, just spitballing here. This is just my theory, guys. This isn't anything that I've heard or read or anything like that. But it sounds like maybe a terrorist organization, an ISIS or an Al-Qaeda, somebody like that, has found some sort of loophole in getting a vehicle, and that's why they're recommending Turo. But the other side of it could be, and this could just be the, coincidence here, where else are you going to get a Cybertruck? Because you don't go to Enterprise and rent a Cybertruck.
That's true.
So
That's true.
Turo, you get to kind of pick out the car you want and that sort of thing. So if this guy is very specific, I want a Cybertruck because he's trying to make a statement, he's going to blow it up at the Trump Hotel, then that's probably one of your only places without going and buying one.
There are a lot of, like Jeff Monosso was just saying, there are a lot of dots here that the public is looking at and going, come on, don't shine this up for me. Give me the truth. Give me the truth. And we don't trust our organizations. We don't trust these agencies anymore. That's the problem. Because one of the other pieces of information, and you just reminded me of this when you said it was an F-150 in New Orleans. Did you see that the Ford page got hacked?
Yeah, that was bad.
By pro-Palestinian, probably Islamists, who put out multiple tweets saying, like, support the Palestinian state or things like that.
Yeah.
All at about the same time as this is happening. And so you're going, is it possible that these are coincidences? Yes. It's just that when you stack so many of them up, it starts to look like a bigger thing.
Yeah, several coincidences become a pattern.
Exactly. And, any one of the, it's possible that some of these aren't a coincidence and some are.
Yeah.
Too. So it doesn't have to be all one or the other, but you just hope that we're in a place in America where we can start to trust these law enforcement agencies again. At the beginning of the show, I played, the FBI coming out in New Orleans and immediately going, this is not a terrorist attack. And you're like, why? Why would you immediately say that? You don't even know that.
You don't know that it's not, and you don't know that it is.
Yes.
So if you don't know either one, you say, we're still looking into this. It potentially could be. It could not be. You leave it open.
Which is usually annoying, but is the professional thing to do. And they didn't even do that this time.
It's the honest thing to do. And to your point, that transparency is what we need to regain trust in this. So for me, what I want is an open book on all this. Here's what we found. This is what it was. Even if you have to keep the book closed a little bit while you do your investigation, once you've discovered everything, here it all is.
Exactly. 19 days, Brad. 19 days till a lot of these agencies are going to get overhauled, hopefully very, very quickly. We'll be covering it. We were just talking before the show. We'll all be here on Inauguration Day just to cover not just the pomp and circumstance, but he's probably going to start signing some stuff that day. We'll be here covering it live. 1:25 here in Middle America. It is St. Louis time, the second day of January 2025. And you are listening to the Annie Frey Show. The Manny Frey Show taking over today. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
A 2024 survey by Navitus Health Solutions reported that 48% of Americans have been unable to fill a needed prescription at least once due to the cost. RX Outreach, an online nonprofit mail-order pharmacy based in St. Louis, is committed to providing safe and affordable medications for everyone. They offer over 950 medicines for chronic illnesses and conditions and ship to all 50 states, regardless of insurance, without membership fees or copays. Contact RX Outreach at 314-222-0472 or visit RxOutreach.org.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. This brand new facility offers state-of-the-art independent or assisted living and memory care and now has specials on select apartments. Visit npseniorliving.com or call to schedule a free lunch to experience senior living redefined for yourself.
Outdoor Living Redefined, brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design, your trusted partner in crafting stunning decks, inviting screened rooms, and elegant porch overhangs. Imagine enjoying a crisp morning coffee on your beautifully designed deck or hosting gatherings in a spacious screened room. Lakeside turns your vision into reality. Our skilled craftsmen use top-notch materials to create spaces that stand up to the elements and stand out in style. Elevate your lifestyle with Lakeside's outdoor living expertise. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero Res, and how about the biggest sale ever in celebration of the new year? Leave all of the 2024 dirt behind with the new year. Out the door 24. Let's start the year fresh in 2025. And here's the deal. 24% off all cleaning services for the month of January when you mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk. If you didn't get it done last year, this is a great opportunity to take advantage of an awesome offer for 2025. Anything in your home, the carpets, the tiles, the rugs, the upholstery, every surface can be Zero Resified. So this is the time in January to call the cleaning pros at Zero Res. Don't forget the air ducts, too. That's really important, helps alleviate allergies or asthma, and you want to enjoy less dust, lower energy bills, and your home's going to stay cleaner longer. Take advantage. 24% off all cleaning services for the month of January when you mention 97.1 FM Talk or my name. 474-2020 or online, ZeroResSTL.com. Don't miss this offer. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Tony LaRussa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Happy New Year to all you 97.1 FM Talk listeners. It's going to be a busy 2025, and Mark Reardon is back on January 2nd to cover it all.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
A great year. I think we're going to do fantastically well as a country. We're going to bring it back. It has to be brought back. People are not respecting our country very much, and they're going to respect us a lot. I think a lot of progress has been made over the last 5 weeks. It's been pretty amazing when you look at what's happened. There's a whole light over the whole world, not just our country. There are a lot of very happy people.
It's interesting because he's right. People are treating him as if he's the president already. You know, world leaders are having meetings with him, as you would. I'm not saying that that's strange, but he hasn't even taken office yet, and the things he's promised to do policy-wise are already beginning to happen. Remain in Mexico being a big one that's already started. I mentioned in the last segment that I wanted to read Donald Trump's Truth Social post that's, I guess it's about the terrorist attacks, but really it's about the broader scope of government. It says this: our country is a disaster, a laughingstock all over the world. This is what happens when you have open borders with weak, ineffective, and virtually non-existent leadership. The DOJ, FBI, and Democrat state and local prosecutors have not done their job. No lies detected so far. That was my commentary. Back to the statement. They are incompetent and corrupt, having spent all of their waking hours unlawfully attacking their political opponent, me, rather than focusing on protecting Americans from the outside and inside violent scum that has infiltrated all aspects of our government and our nation itself. Democrats should be ashamed of themselves for allowing this to happen to our country. The CIA must get involved now before it's too late. The USA is breaking down. A violent erosion of safety, national security, and democracy is taking place all across our nation. Only strength and powerful leadership will stop it. See you again on January 20th. Make America great again. Now, Brad, I don't know if you have followed this story in particular, but the broader story that people are talking about. But whenever, I talked about this a little bit in the first hour, whenever a terrorist attack happens in a way and in a place that you could picture yourself being, and this is why schools are so much that way.
That's why they pick them.
That when it's it's because it's just so random. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't deserve this. You didn't let your guard down.
You were just in a particular place at a particular time. I saw an interview with a guy who he said, me and my buddies were running and we thought we got out. And he goes, I got into this building, we went in the back, and I turned around to look to see where he was, and he wasn't behind me.
Oof.
And he said he missed getting hit by the truck by that much, and his buddy did.
Wow. Yeah, I've seen some posts about there was a young girl who got killed, and the post was basically about her parents saying, listen, if your parents tell you don't go out, because they were just mourning. They'd lost their daughter. She was one of the victims in that attack in New Orleans. She was out partying, and she was probably in her early 20s. These incidents are just so random, and they're making people question whether Trump should even do a typical oath of office, because the one in New Orleans, a little bit different, doesn't seem directly related to politics. It could be. He had an ISIS flag, so don't know exactly what he was trying to get across there. If it was, and I don't mean to make it all about Donald Trump, is my point. But the one in Las Vegas was about Donald Trump. They parked outside of Trump Tower for a reason. So obviously trying to send a message, and people saying, look, just because we got through 2 assassination attempts and he happened to not be hit by either one of them, that doesn't mean they just stop now. I would think that it's less likely now, because once you get the apparatus in place, people are going to know, oh, well, now J.D. Vance would take over. But before that, the specifically the shooting that got him in the ear, that was, millimeters away from ending this guy's life and changing the course of history as we know it. If that had happened at that moment, he hadn't even announced a VP yet.
Yeah.
That was like 2 days away.
Yeah.
That's how close that was, that he was going to announce his VP. And we didn't know at the time who it was going to be. Now that has happened, but people are still saying, look, this guy's not out of the woods. Donald Trump is, as we've reported on many, many times here in the last 8 years plus, uniquely hated by crazy people. And so the fact that J.D. Vance would take over doesn't seem like it's a deterrent. It doesn't seem like enough of a deterrent that you'd say, yeah, we're probably out of the woods with crazies trying to knock off the president.
Yeah, I don't think I would. But like you're saying, people are calling for that to delay or change how he's doing his oath of office. I don't think you change anything. I think you go full steam ahead. I think you've got to, because what you can't do is show that you're afraid.
That's what New Orleans is doing today.
Yeah. And I saw where I think it was the Louisiana AG's like, we shouldn't be having this game. But they delayed the game one day, which I think was prudent. You didn't know what was happening. You didn't know if there was more planned, because the Sugar Bowl is supposed to happen last night. And they delayed it one day. They said it's supposed to kick off today at 3. So as soon as you're done listening to the Andy Frey Show, if you want to watch Notre Dame and Georgia, flip on over and watch that. But but not before. But New Orleans is pushing ahead. Jeff Monosso was saying that you could hear bands marching down the street on that road now. They've got everything cleared up and cleaned up, and there's that bands playing, and they're trying to get back to normal. But that's what needs to happen.
In a sense, yes.
The idea of a terror attack, yes, you need to be more vigilant. You absolutely do. But what you can't do, they win when your way of life is altered. And what you can't do is let them alter your way of life.
Yeah, I said in that first segment again, talking about how my wife had lived in New Orleans for a few years, and so we've visited there even after she moved back. And this was before we were married, so I actually have only been to New Orleans with her. And she said, yeah, it's pretty common in the French Quarter, to be walking through and a parade just starts. And the way it happens is usually it's a kid or somebody young just walking around with a horned instrument, like sometimes a tuba or a trumpet or something, and they just start playing. They just playing When the Saints Go Marching or whatever. And people are there to party, and so they grab a drink, and they just start following that kid. And other people join in because there's so many people with instruments. They'll just join in, they'll just start playing their instruments, and they'll walk around and make a parade. And I thought, man, the days I was there was around Thanksgiving, and this was over 10 years ago, that if I was seeing it on days that weren't party days, it must be pretty common. And she's like, oh, yeah, it's super common. It happens all the time. But this would be a day where you'd figure, man, after a terrorist attack, I know it's like party central New Year's Eve. I get it. But the day after a terrorist attack, you'd think, oh, maybe that stuff's not happened. No, it is. It is still happening in New Orleans because it just never stops.
There needs to be an indignation that goes along with it.
Yeah.
When somebody comes after you, you have to be indignant about their attempts to silence you, to crush you, to break you down. You cannot let them get the upper hand.
Peace through strength, man. Donald Trump gets that. And he is making very strong statements about this stuff. Of course, he's tying it to a lot of Democrat politicians. There's stuff that I've seen reported about these two terrorists, the one in Las Vegas, the one in New Orleans, that I'm not going to report because I haven't confirmed it to be true. But it was about their giving records, who they give to in politics and so on and so forth. I'm not going to tell you what that was because it was Twitter. Yeah. And I don't know for sure, but I am encouraging you, maybe look that up. That's something that you might want to find out for yourself, and we'll report on once we get it confirmed. But certainly Donald Trump is linking all of these things together. And why wouldn't he? He's taking office, and he's not a president that's going to do one thing. He's going to do a lot of things, and cleaning out the deep state, the shadow government, the permanent Washington, the swamp, whatever you want to call it. Man, I know that he didn't make that the central focus of his campaign, and I'm glad he didn't, because a lot of Americans, we know that's a problem. We want him to deal with it. But was he going to win every swing state by making that the central issue? I don't think he was. So he actually did this right in that he focused on inflation, the economy. He focused on open borders, and that is what won him this race. And now he's able to do all of those other things too.
I think he was also successful in showing that a lot of the stuff that people want fixed is a result of that deep state, that rot within our government.
Yeah.
The career bureaucrats that have been in there that either don't care or aren't good at what they do, that they need to be removed, and you need to put people in who are competent and who strive for excellence in those areas.
I got a story coming up here about Biden having some regrets. And this involves the debate. This involves stuff that is now part of history that I'll tell you about in a second. But real quick, I was getting some Christmas gifts a few days ago, right before Christmas, like I think that Monday. And this speaks to the fact that everybody's kind of on that same, even if you're not really involved in politics. I was getting some calendars from a copy store, and we were talking about, do you want to pay cash or credit? And I said, well, I'll pay cash. I got cash. He goes, oh, yeah, I'm sure you I said, I'm sure you take cash, right? People still take cash, I think. And he's like, oh, yeah, we prefer it. He's like, man, I just never know how many people are watching you whenever you scan your card. And I said, yeah, it's something we don't think about enough. And just that little open door, he started talking about it. There was a guy waiting for copies behind me who was a really young guy who I had no idea what his politics. He started talking about it. The whole thing, everybody blew up. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, they're watching you. Everybody's got all this information on you. No idea what the politics of this entire room was, but everybody's fed up with big government and untrustworthy government. We don't know what they have on us. We have no idea. They know your spending patterns. They know all this stuff. We have no idea what kind of databases they're keeping on us. And that is a random thing that unites America. That we're all skeptical of all of this technology and how it's being used. And I think that we all trust a Donald Trump administration more than a random Democrat administration to at least not misuse that stuff and hopefully not keep it at all.
Well, the whole reason for all that, the Patriot Act and all that stuff, was to keep you safe. It was to keep you safe.
It's always for safety.
And what did we see?
Abuse.
We saw abuse, but we also see that they're not using it for what they said they would use it for.
That's another great point. Yeah, terrorist attacks still happening. So anyway, like I said, Biden, the current president of the United States, has expressed some regrets about the way things went down. Now, if you haven't heard this yet, you'll be a little surprised as to what he regrets. Coming up next here on the Annie Frey Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com. Wow, this year has flown by, and now you're planning to sell your home. You know, like you, most families have been waiting on the sidelines. Well, now the timing is better, but you still have questions, right? Hey, Mark Cox here from my friend and trusted realtor Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I've been telling you about Gloria Liu for years now. Why? Because Gloria Liu is St. Louis real estate expert, and if you have a home to sell, you need to get to know her like I have. I've seen her systems, her guarantees. I've even met her clients. In fact, I'm also a client. She's different than any other realtor, and if you need help selling your home for the most money, you need to do what I did. Call Gloria Liu. Here's another tip. If you have a home to sell in Crestwood, Shaw, Maplewood, the Central West End, you must give Gloria Liu a call. Take it from me and call my friend Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Today's YouTube live chat poll: should Mike Johnson remain Speaker of the House? Yes or no? We've got a poll running on Annie's YouTube page. Go to YouTube and search Annie Frey. You'll find the live stream. In that live stream, you can vote on the poll. We want to hear what you think on this. Should Mike Johnson remain the Speaker of the House? If you want to rewind to 1225, we spoke to Hans von Spakovksy about this and what he thinks. So jump on the chat. Tell us why you voted the way you voted, and make sure you vote in the poll. The time is 1:45. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
It's a January tradition. The Mark Cox Morning Show will be broadcasting live from the Missouri State Capitol Wednesday, January 8th for the first day of the legislative session. Sponsored by Golden Oak Lending. Homeowners get cash in as little as 14 days at Golden Oak Lending.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show.
Just like the white-winged dove sings a song.
Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
Just like the white-winged dove sings a song. Sounds like she's singing.
Here, the second day of 2025, looking back a little bit at the year that was. Did you see any concerts last year, Brad?
No, I'm not much of a concert person.
I would like to fancy myself a concert person. I don't think I saw anything last year.
You have to go to concerts to be a concert person.
I know. I'm no Mark Reardon.
No Mark.
I'll tell you that. That guy sees some concerts, man.
I can't get into them.
I say that because Stevie Nicks was in town last year. And my wife and mother-in-law went to see her at Enterprise Center. And they said she was phenomenal. I should look up and see how old she is now. I would think that, she's got kind of that gravelly voice that I would think the older you got, the harder it would be.
That's interesting that you mentioned that because Madonna was doing concerts and she made some waves on the internet for her performance, and people are like, "Madam, you are too old to be doing that."
Yeah.
And so like part of it is like, what is your performance? Are you a good singer? And if you're a good singer, then you can change how you perform at your shows and you can continue to sing.
Right.
So it's interesting that you say Stevie Nicks did great because she is. She's a really good singer.
She was born in 1948. She's 76 years old. She apparently sounds still fantastic. Now, I don't, when you're at a concert, you don't know how much you might be hearing some processing and things, but my wife said she told some stories in between, which for me, when I go to a concert, if it's anybody I've ever heard of, I've heard your songs. I want to hear your songs live. Don't get me wrong. That's why I'm there. I want to hear stories. I want you to talk to me. I want you to, share things about your life, personal, whatever. I want you to talk a little bit and make it more of a show than just me coming and hearing you play the songs note for note like they are on the record. I can get the record. And I actually am a fan of when people try to make it sound like the record. I'm not saying like change the song, but I want to just hear more from you. That's why it's a show. And she apparently did that really well. And my wife said that one of the things that she said is that she has a vocal coach that is with her, I would assume full-time. Like that's his full-time job, is to be with Stevie Nicks all the time. And that she does 2 to 3 hours of vocal training every day. I'm here talking for the first time in several days, and I'm already going hoarse. So it says a lot. And to be able to do that for such a long time, man, it's just impressive. But she said that show was amazing. I mentioned coming into this segment that Biden was expressing some regrets over the way things went down. Now, I don't know if he really knows the way things went down or if he's being told he has regrets. But I think, this probably could be in the category of his own personal opinions, because I don't think he has many political ones at this point. But as 2024 draws to a close, the article says, the president has one regret that looms over his tenure, overshadowing the achievements and challenges of the year. Achievements. What achievements? Joe Biden apparently regrets dropping out of the race. Did you hear this?
Oh, yeah.
The recent presidential election believes he could have beaten Donald Trump if he had stayed in the race. Despite securing the Democrat Party nomination, the 82-year-old withdrew from the race in July amid pressure over his low polling numbers and poor performance in a televised debate against Trump. He was replaced by Kamala Harris, who later lost to Trump in November. Are you kidding? Do you really think, Mr. President, that you, after that debate, and look, she still lost. I'm not saying like, oh, things turned out better. It probably would have been the same. But are you really thinking you could have won that race?
Oh,
do you think he really believes that?
Yes, that man's ego is huge. He believes that he could have won that race. For those of you out there listening, I'm going to give you guys a little perspective on how bad that debate was. Usually, whenever that debate's going on, we're doing
we were at Dave & Buster's.
Yeah, we're doing the debate watch party. When we're conversing about it, we're, throwing bombs, cracking jokes, correcting things. There was a lot of silence.
Slack-jawed,
yeah,
wow. It was awe.
What is he saying? Like, it wasn't an attitude of, look at this joker. It was like, oh my gosh, this is the guy who's in charge of the country.
We've got some awesome T-shirts up. If you go to, I think it's 971.com/merch. So our 97.1 T-shirts that we have. They're great. There's some like cool slogans. It's the kind of shirts that if you're wearing them, people know that guy is into politics. He's a Trump dude.
Yeah.
Like you're out there, you're saying loud and proud, right?
Right.
It's those people. I'm not everybody, but people who are like really into it, who are showing up to party with us.
Our printer was there printing T-shirts.
Exactly. And we are like ready to roll. Like that's why you come, is to be with a bunch of people who, whenever Trump gets a smackdown, everybody goes, oh, you're watching a football game, basically. And we were all ready for it that night. and almost nobody said a word because it was like I was scanning the room. We were in the back. We were broadcasting.
Sighs and gasps.
In the back of the room, we were watching the crowd turning to each other going, oh my gosh, like silently saying it to each other. Oh my gosh, what is happening? Because we all knew Biden was in a bad place. We didn't know it could come across that poorly.
Mm-hmm.
But after that night, it was clear that there was no way for him to win. So my question for you, Brad, and I don't know if we've discussed this on the show. If we have, I apologize. But is it better that he did drop? Now knowing that Donald Trump won, is it better that he beat Kamala Harris instead of Biden?
Yes.
Why?
Because I think that it's not just a rejection of Joe Biden. It's not just a rejection of a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. It's a rejection of policy at that point. It's a rejection of an administrative goal. It's a rejection of everything that the Democrats have tried to do for the last 4 years. It wasn't bad because Joe Biden was old, elderly, declining, bad mental health stuff. It was bad because the results of the policies that administration, because everybody could look at it and say, well, Joe Biden wasn't in charge anyway. It was a result of those policies put in place why things have gotten so bad.
I completely agree. Because looking back on it now, if he had beat Joe Biden, which he would have, everybody would have said, well, yeah, sure you can beat Joe Biden, but if we had anybody else running, they would have beat Donald Trump. You did have somebody else running. They didn't beat Donald Trump. It was a full repudiation of policy at that point, which is great because you had Kamala Harris, by politics standards, younger, attractive, checks all the boxes, has the demographics,
energy,
all the stuff. Like, yeah, she had the full force of Hollywood production behind her. She had the endorsement of every single person at the Diddy parties. She had everything going for her, but still couldn't pull it off. And now people go, well, it's because she didn't have enough time or whatever. Yeah, whatever.
The excuses were always going to come for whoever lost.
Yeah, it's going to happen. And there probably are legitimate excuses. Like maybe if she'd had a longer, campaign, she would have spoken more eloquently. I'm just kidding.
Maybe she would have done
it
more
wouldn't
interviews.
Happen. Yeah, this was ideal for her. Come on, give me a break. This was exactly what she needed. It still didn't work. But the only reason that I can come up with why it may have been better if he had beaten Joe Biden instead of Kamala Harris or anybody else for that matter is that the turnout for Joe Biden would have been so low that they probably would have a bigger House majority. They would probably have taken a couple extra Senate seats. And that stuff would be valuable, Brad.
I don't know, though, that they would have gotten that much more because I think what the DNC would have immediately done is pivot to throwing their money not behind Joe Biden, but behind all those races.
I tell you what, it's been really glorious in this last couple months because you can't really find an argument why people still don't like Trump. If you hated Trump, you still hate Trump. Don't get me wrong. But the fact that he won the popular vote, he won every single swing state. They took the Senate, they took more seats than they thought they would in every way. He beat lawfare, he beat assassins. There's no talking point that you can attach to him, and it would have been the Joe Biden talking point. Even if all of those other things had been true, it would have been, yeah, well, you beat Hillary Clinton barely, and then you beat a well-intentioned elderly man who's got dementia.
Yeah.
You're not a legitimate president. No, that's gone. You are a legitimate president. In fact, your approval rating at this moment in time is the highest it's ever been for your 3-term run that you've had.
Wild.
It's pretty incredible. Here it is, January 2nd. We've said it before, 19 days until Inauguration Day. We will cover it live here on 97.1. That's going to be a fun day. That's MLK Day, but we'll be here live covering that because it's also Inauguration Day. January 6th is coming up. That is when Annie Frey returns. The whole team will be back on Monday. Today, it's the Manny Frey Show here on 97.1.
Your voice can be key to changing lives. That's why the American Cancer Society is calling on Black women from all walks of life to join Voices of Black Women, a groundbreaking research study led by the American Cancer Society and backed by more than 70 years of trusted cancer research studies and breakthroughs. The Voices of Black Women study is designed to better understand why and how cancer and other conditions impact Black women. It's a commitment to partnering with Black women to better understand their lived experiences. Learn more at voices.cancer.org.
My best friend Jenny came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. Well, my furnace broke and it's already late. Call Jerry Kelly cause they're open till 8, jerrykelly.com. They'll be here quick and have you feeling good, jerrykelly.com. Cause your furnace will be running like it should. They're certified technicians, I've been told, will help you when it's hot and help you when it's cold, jerrykelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on, jerrykelly.com.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
When someone hears the words, "You have cancer," it's one of the darkest moments in their life. Light the Night brings light to the darkness of cancer by uniting survivors, patients, and supporters in the cause to end cancer. Friends, families, and coworkers form a community of hope, raising funds in support of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Together, we walk with lanterns held high to light the path to cures. Last year alone, the FDA approved 18 new drug therapies and treatments to treat blood cancers. The impact of LLS-supported research goes beyond blood cancer. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. When we walk, cancer runs. Join the movement to end cancer today. Visit us at lightthenight.org.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Neither of the New Year's attackers had help. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. The assessment of the FBI investigating the truck ramming attack in New Orleans and the truck explosion in Las Vegas, concluding each was a lone wolf operation. And new this hour, the driver of the Tesla Cybertruck that exploded outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas had an apparently self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. The driver tentatively identified as Matthew Livelsberger, an Army Special Forces soldier. The FBI says they do not know the motive for the bombing. New Orleans trying to return to normal in the wake of yesterday's ramming attack.
The sound of a Bourbon Street band as the city of New Orleans reopens the famed French Quarter thoroughfare that's been cleared of carnage.
This was an act of terrorism. It was premeditated and an evil act.
FBI Assistant Director Christopher Rea now saying the suspect who was shot and killed by police, who was inspired by a terror group, acted alone. That explosives found on Bourbon Street were placed there by the suspect, whose home in Houston. Cell phones and computers are being searched.
Fox's Jeff Monosso, despite similarities, the FBI does not believe the New Year's Day attacks were related. President-elect Trump announcing his support for House Speaker Mike Johnson to keep that job. But Fox's Chad Pergram reports that may not be enough.
House Speaker Mike Johnson enters the new Congress with fewer Republican members than former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy began with 2 years ago. Johnson can only lose 1 vote. Johnson is trying to rally his troops. He points out that a delay electing a speaker freezes the House. The House cannot even swear in members, let alone begin work on legislation. Conservatives like Victoria Spartz of Indiana and Thomas Massey of Kentucky will not vote for Johnson. There are about 15 other Republicans who have issues with the speaker. The House must vote repeatedly until it elects a speaker.
Speaker's vote scheduled tomorrow. America is listening to Fox News.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max used for adults only.
So this new dose is, well, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Tons of clouds this afternoon with a few sprinkles of rain, 41. Tonight, clouds, maybe a light rain shower, even a sloppy wet snowflake. Before midnight, we are above freezing, but we do drop to 24. Friday, sunny and 32. Saturday, partly sunny, 32. We've got some snow and even some ice on tap late Saturday night, and Sunday, still lots of questions. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
What's your favorite 4-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our 4-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow, and hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes, and find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app.
is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Ryan Wiggins, Brad Range here. Annie will be back on Monday. As much as I love witty banter, Brad, I have a question for you. This isn't just waste of time radio.
No witty banter here?
No. There's a real point to this question, but it won't sound like it.
Okay.
What'd you do on New Year's Eve?
I stayed home, played some video games, and then watched Tyrus and Kat count down in the new year.
Did you make it to...
Oh, yeah.
Like 1 or?
No.
Not quite?
I think it was about, it's probably 1 o'clock before I fell asleep, 1:30.
We didn't do anything either. My kids, we just decided to stay in. I guess we had a couple of opportunities to go some places, but we also had some friends that were out of town. It was like, let's just stay in. And we did, and the kids did all, including the 7-year-old, made it to midnight.
Oh, good for them.
But it's one of the rare nights that they're allowed to just kind of like watch stuff. They're like starting at like 7, they can just watch movies. And usually we let them watch a movie or we let them watch 3 episodes of a show or something. But then that's it. Or you get an hour and a half of video game time. This is like, oh my gosh, we can just stay up as late as we want watching stuff. So they love it. And their tradition now is to watch Ice Age or Ice Age 2, which I think they watched both of this year. But my reason for asking you this question is, you said you watched Tyrus and Kat Timpf. Did they do like a live ball drop New Year's Eve Times Square thing?
Well, I don't know, because whenever I turned it on, it was after 11 in Central Time.
Oh, so theirs had dropped.
Theirs had already dropped, so I'm not sure what they did. But
they were still hosting a live show.
Yeah, they had comedians, and I think Kennedy was working the bar that they had on the stage.
Oh, that's cool.
And so, they were just telling jokes and wrapping up the new year.
Did you flip around stations at all?
A couple of them.
Were all the stations doing live coverage?
For the most part.
All the news stations?
Well, I didn't check CNN, but I know CNN always does.
They did. And that's what I was going to ask.
Don't they always get hammered, too?
Apparently, like Andy Cohen is usually the guy, and Anderson Cooper.
I know Don Lemon got smoked that one year.
Yeah, and he's released some videos recently that he might have been drunk for those. I mean, they've been kind of weird. Not Britney Spears level weird, but just like a little weird. Mm-hmm. This, though, is making the rounds because it was on CNN, and it makes you wonder if this was planned. I mean, clearly she planned it.
Yeah.
Did CNN know what they were going to do?
She has been blowing up Twitter afterwards. Here's some other ones that I couldn't squeeze in.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yes.
So
you need to follow her.
I watched this whole thing from Whitney Cummings. Now, that's a name you might know if you follow comedy, because she's kind of a comedian's comedian. Mm-hmm. You know, there's the comedy world where you're watching sketch comedy and SNL and movies and stuff. And then there's the comedy world that's like stand-up comedian.
Yes.
I've never really been into that world as much, and I know you do, and Annie does. I'm not into stand-up quite as much. It's its own world. I did some kind of stage stuff when I was in college, but I never really loved it. And in fact, I hated improv, which is surprising because, lo and behold, we do a 3-hour radio show every day. It is all improv. We have some material like stories. I'm holding up a story here. I'm going to get to this story, but we don't know how we're going to do it. We just know that it's there.
Yeah.
So it's basically improv. But I did, a little bit of that stuff in college, and I didn't love the way that improv was run, partially because most of the people doing it were not that good at it. You get to the high levels and they're really good at it. But until you get to that level, most of these people are using kind of the same device. They're going back to the same things over and over. So it's not really improv. You kind of had a plan, and you just kind of stuck the...
You're turning the situation to fit the narrative.
There's a formula that you've already used, and you're sort of reusing jokes.
Yeah, I did improv in high school.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Like comedy? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to be funny. I'm not so much anymore because I'm around real funny people. But
Oh,
so I
thank
just kind
you.
of back
No,
off
you're not
and let
talking
you
about
guys
me,
do it. You're
No.
funnier than I am, so.
Well, the reason we're talking about this is because Whitney Cummings, again, she's in that comedy world. So she was invited to be, I don't know if she was a guest host or she was just there, near the ball drop on CNN. But she launches into like a 4 to 5 minute bit.
It was a roast, wasn't it?
I don't know. They didn't stop her. She just starts and she's talking about mostly current events that have happened in 2024. And I think we'll start with the stuff. You know what? We'll just go in order here. We'll start with the first one because she gets more into the conspiracy stuff later as we go, and it gets funnier. So here's the first one.
I do believe we need to hold 2024 accountable for its behavior. That is what white women do now. We point out other things that are toxic because we don't get irony, and that is our truth. This was the year that people were behaving so poorly, we started being wistful about murderers. Remember, this was the year we were like, were the Menendez brothers so bad? Were we too hard on the Menendez brothers? This was the year we could not get enough of murderers. Gypsy Rose became our favorite celebrity because murdering your mom is so brat. They had her on a red carpet, a little on the nose for a murderer, but she was like posing in a fancy dress. We were like, slay, and she was like, I did. And of course, our heartthrob of the year was the alleged cold-blooded killer named Luigi, who is now in the same prison as Diddy, which I'm very upset about because Luigi already has a lower back issue. This was the year nothing made sense. Fertility was down, sales of baby oil was up, white supremacy groups reached record highs. It got so bad, Ariana Grande became white again.
Okay, so she's just going.
Yes.
I mean, it's clearly prepared material. Some of it's good, some of it's okay. And she's standing there, for context, with Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper, who look like they're going, when am I supposed to jump in?
Yeah.
Because she just keeps going. Well, that was 1 minute.
When she hit that first joke about Luigi Mangione about his back problems, Cooper covered his face.
Oh, yeah.
And trying not to laugh.
But
as this bit was going on, it was funny to watch him because he kept getting more and more off frame.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be associated with this. You know this is going to viral. You know that radio stations are going to play this the next day, which we are. So that was the first one. Again, some of those jokes are just okay. When you're watching it, though, it is different to watch it because they look so uncomfortable that you're like, oh, this is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But here's the next one.
2024 totally broke our brains. Half the people I know think we're in a simulation. I'm starting to wonder. When I go to a website and it asks me if I'm a robot or not, half the time I get the quiz wrong.
Okay,
I'm like,
that's
does
funny.
the shadow of a bike count as a bike? I don't know. Why am I looking at a grainy photo of a crack house? We just all broke mentally this year. Things got so bleak, we started watching the WNBA. What happened? And we also started watching older women in movies. Equality or insanity? You tell me. Demi Moore was in a movie called The Substance, showing that Hollywood's ready for a woman in her 50s to star in a movie as long as a hot 28-year-old wears a leotard for most of it. Pam Anderson's getting Oscar buzz for a movie she did wearing no makeup. Guys, it's not progress if you call it brave. Documentaries finally realized the only way to make money is to just make them about cheerleaders. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleader doc showed the girls being treated horribly, underpaid, crying. I thought I'd open a video on Hunter Biden's laptop.
She just keeps going. And they're just going, what are we supposed to do? Because she's not letting up.
No.
Once in a while, you probably broke these segments when she would turn to them and go, oh, am I still going?
No.
Okay, next one.
This is the year everyone hated the movie The Joker, but if you do love watching men descend into insanity, in a couple hours you get to watch Andy Cohen do the countdown. In 2024, some things left us, some came back. Sanity left us. Somehow crypto is back. Do you guys even know what crypto? No one thought the timing of crypto was fishy. As soon as women started making money, they were like, money's over. Money's over. I don't even know what crypto is. As far as I understand, it's just astrology for men. Like, I don't.
That's funny. Did you see Joker, the second Joker?
No. I found out it was a
man.
musical. I'm like, nope, I'm out.
I tried. So I didn't even know that it existed because apparently the way that Joker 2 went down, Joker 1 I thought was amazing. I know you didn't really care for it that much, but
It's all right.
I thought Joker 1 was amazing with Joaquin Phoenix. Then he comes out with this second one with Lady Gaga, and there was a lot of anticipation because the first one was pretty well liked.
Yeah.
I think it was up for Best Picture and stuff. Like, it was like really,
Yes.
really well done. And then this one came out, and I think they swept it under the rug. Because I was watching for it and didn't even know that it had come out.
I have a great conspiracy theory about this.
Oh, please.
So the thing about Joker 1 that everybody liked was it was a one man who cracked, who was rebelling back against the system. And a bunch of people loved it. And so the system then looked at this and said, well, we can't release another one of those and get everybody
Oh, that is a
fired up.
conspiracy theory.
What if we release this horrible version? We'll make it a musical. What is the least thing that beat down men that loved this movie wanted to see? What is the last thing they'd want to see? Well, how about a musical with Lady Gaga and we turn Joker into a wuss?
No, I think you're wrong. I like the theory, but I think it was because Joaquin Phoenix is nuts. And he
well, that might be true.
I think he looked at the script and went, "Oh, what if we did?" And look, this makes sense. Let's do a Joker movie that's just bizarre. Well, that fits the character. So let's do it and let's make it a musical. I tried watching it. There's nothing technically wrong with the movie. It's just boring.
Yes.
You're like, there's nothing happening.
Let's make this movie terrible.
It's just in prison and he's on trial for what he did at the end of the first Joker. And they sing songs. And you're like, I don't care about the songs. But give me some plot.
It's not
do something.
Like the thing about the first Joker movie was you weren't really sure what was real and what was fantasy. This one is not like that. It's just they didn't go insane enough for the insanity.
75% of the way through, I'm still waiting for a hook. Like, give me the reason to be watching this movie. But I've saved these last two from Whitney Cummings because this is where she really starts to push them. So here's the second to last one.
2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding a body upright. Are we still rolling? Am I off?
Go for it.
It was amazing that the pro-choice party didn't give their voters one when it came to the presidential candidate. Kamala was forced on us so hard you'd think she was patented by Pfizer or Moderna, whichever one's. Oh God, Andy just gave me a very scary look.
No.
Let me be clear though. 2024 was not only negative. The media wants us to believe this country is so divided, but we actually came together a lot this year. Like as a nation, we unanimously agreed that we would rather see J-Lo in a toxic relationship than in concert. We all agreed the government totally knows what drones are and aren't telling us. The drones are still up there, and we have no idea what's behind them. No idea. I mean, they're still up in the sky, so I guess we can rule out that they were made by Boeing.
Apparently, she went to the internet before this and just said, give me all the best conspiracy theories. And not for that one, but for this next one, she wrote jokes about them.
And since I only have a minute left live on establishment media, why don't we just say a bunch of things that we know that they'll never cover? Okay, ready, go. Trump Shooter didn't have any silverware in his house. No one thought that was weird? Are we still rolling? Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia put money into Disney, so just know there won't be any girl characters in the next Cars movie. Are we still rolling? This is wild. Why have so many presidents' chefs died? Weird.
Obama.
Boy Scout of America, they renamed itself Scouting America. You know who else changed their name? Sean Combs. Just saying. Let's learn something in 2025. I can't believe you guys are still letting me go. This is amazing. I love CNN. Please stop me, Andy, because I will just keep going.
Happy New Year, Whitney.
Oh, there they are.
Am I still streaming? Yeah.
They're going to stop her. Is CNN changing really, though?
No.
I think she snuck that in.
Yeah,
I don't think this is any sort of broader.
Yeah, they're looking for how do we do this to make it look like we're not going, no, stop.
They clearly did not know how long she was going to go.
No.
Because she just starts and she almost does not take a breath for the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, and it almost sounded like when you watched, we broke it up, but if you let it go, it almost sounds like she didn't know how long she had to go.
Yeah,
so
like
she would go.
They're going to stop me at some point, so I just better keep going.
So every one of those breaks that I put in there was kind of a spot where she's like,
turn, see, no? Okay.
No? Okay, keep going.
Yeah, it was great. It was fun to watch. That's the stuff that you traditionally, we've always said on this show, especially Andy, this is the stuff comedians are supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
You get on there, you push the buttons a little bit, you see what happens. Man, I'm watching a bunch of Norm McDonald stuff. I didn't realize how often he did that.
Oh my gosh.
He's got a reputation for being Norm Macdonald.
Him on The View.
That's legendary.
Call the Clintons murderers.
I mean,
I thought everybody knew that.
But he wouldn't just do it to politics. That's the thing. Like, you could tell he was genuinely just, lighting a lighter under somebody's butt and just seeing what happens. I was going to see. And he would do it to other stars. He'd be on Conan and be in the second chair, and the main star would be being interviewed, and he'd just chime in with something. You're like, you're not supposed to say that. That person's career is on the line. You can't do that. But he would just do it just to see, It was really funny stuff. I mean, he made some really inappropriate comments toward the end about inappropriate in the Norm way. So you wouldn't watch it and you wouldn't go, oh, I'm offended. But you do go, oh, man, really? About 9/11? Like jokes that you're like, dude, you're touching some subjects. It was just because he loved doing stuff to make people a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, if you told
comedians do that.
You told Norm you're not allowed to cross that line. His desire was to then.
He'd be like, "Oh, what line? Can you show it to
this
me?"
Line?
Yeah, that line.
Am I across?
Oh yeah. Anyway, good on Whitney Cummings. She's never really been one of my favorite comedians, but I don't think that she's bad. I just like to hear somebody just going out and saying, "Let's see what I can get away with."
Yeah,
it's fun. All right, we're going to take a short break, and we got Annie, Are You Okay? Because it's a Thursday. Coming up next, Trisha's coming in. Stick around.
They began to wail. The band was jumping and the joint began to swing. You should have heard this knocked out jailbird sing. Let it rock.
This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
It's January, and it's time to stop wondering if you have enough to retire comfortably. Did you know there's an easy way to find out? It starts with one phone call to Bob and Tammy Kershaw, Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group. When you ring up 314-993-9494, that's 314-993-9494, you are going to be on the path to a great, comfortable, peace of mind understanding as to how your retirement is going to go and how soon you can go into retirement. Set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review with the people at the Retirement Advisory Group. Find out exactly what you need to know so that you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to lose your nest egg in the next market correction. You don't have to worry about these things. You have people at your the other end of a phone call ready to help you, excited to help you, just like so many other Annie Frey Show listeners in the past. 314-993-9494. Give them a call at 314-993-9494, and they will get the appointment scheduled for you right away. Find them online at retirementkey.com.
Hey, Jimmy Fallon here with a quick listening tip for you. If you miss Fox Across America or any of your other Fox News favorites, do not worry. I got you covered. You can stream previously aired shows with Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app. So if you're busy work days, it doesn't mean you have to miss out on the news. Listen to your Fox shows on your time with Odyssey. To get started, just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio. That's Odyssey, A-U-D-A-C-Y. I'm spelling it out in case you're a little slow like me.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsl.honorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
There's a music station that fits your taste at Odyssey.com. Download the app for instant access to hundreds of music stations and listen live to 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it or stream from 971talk.com. This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Okay, who in this room among Brad, Trisha, and myself is the most worried about the snow on Sunday? It's got to be you, right, Trisha?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
No, it's not, Trisha. It's you?
No.
You're not worried at all because you love driving in things that are dangerous.
Yes, it's fun.
I'm not worried about it.
You have to do all the scheduling for if we can't make it in on Monday.
I don't love the idea of having to coordinate everybody else's schedule for it. Yeah, you're right. I am worried about that part of it. I'm not worried about the weather.
No, not everything associated.
Booking all you goofballs, hotel rooms, and getting the texts at all hours of the day.
And I will only stay at the Adams Mark.
Obviously. Yep, obviously. But Brad will only stay at the Hyatt.
And I only eat scallops.
Ethan will only stay at, where's your hotel?
Mine is struggling to come up with.
That's why I threw you under the bus.
Super 7.
Well, I like to stay. Actually, I like to
Four
stay at
Seasons.
the one at the Ballpark Village apartment one. So you have to
I
put me
can't
up
keep
in
it
an
all
apartment.
straight.
Can you book me in Galena?
Sure. Yeah, let's do that.
Because I haven't skied yet this season.
What is that?
It's in northern Illinois.
Okay. Got it.
I haven't actually ever been there. I would just like to visit.
I wasn't. It took me a minute to think, is Galena a real place? Yes, it is.
It is. Yeah.
I'm just going to go
It's
with
not
it.
close.
Yes, and.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're dealing with snow, so I figured they'll have snow there.
Obviously.
Might as well make a day of
Ryan,
it.
the point is so that you stay in the hotel if you can't drive.
My earphones aren't working very well. Can you go ahead and play the sounder?
Sure.
And now it's time to play Is Annie Okay With This?
Are you okay?
I don't know. I really don't.
Am I playing Annie? Do I get to decide today?
Yes.
Or wait,
that's horrifying.
We have to define this.
Would Annie be okay?
Would Annie be okay with this?
That's how I wrote it initially.
Yes.
And then is that how you want me to read that?
I think so. I like putting words in her mouth.
All right. Flesh-eating parasite with sharp
Yes.
mouth hook has U.S. on alert for the first time since 1966.
Is the parasite visible with the human eye?
A flesh-eating parasite that was recently discovered in southern Mexico has officials in the United States concerned that the previously eradicated pest could make its way back into the country for the first time since the 60s. The parasite, known as the New World screwworm, was found in a cow at an inspection checkpoint near the border of Guatemala.
When they find that stuff, just leave it in the cow. Don't take it out and start spraying it around. Like a T-shirt cannon.
But Ryan, you have to think if we eat that cow, then it gets into the human.
That's why we cook. That's why we cook meat.
Don't eat that cow.
These are larvae and maggots with sharp mouth hooks that latch onto open wounds or live tissue on the body. Officials are asking Southern Texans who hunt or spend time outdoors to keep an eye out.
Yeah, if they see them, shoot them.
Wait, shoot the cow?
That
or
looks
the
like
parasite?
one of those little lice with the teeth.
Splow!
Boom!
Would Annie be okay with the New World screwworm?
Yep. Where's the sounder?
I said yes as soon as you started talking about it. So my answer's clear.
So where's the sign? It's right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
she'd be good with it.
Smooth sailing. Man attempts to hijack self-driving taxi. A man was taken into custody in downtown Los Angeles after allegedly attempting to drive away in a self-driving Waymo taxi. The incident occurred when the man entered the vehicle and moved into the driver's seat.
Wait a minute. If a car pulls up and there's nobody in it, do you automatically just instinctively get in the driver's seat?
No, he got in the passenger seat and then slid over.
Pulled a gun.
Like it wasn't going fast enough, and he's like, "I got to really get out of here, though."
Aims at the steering wheel.
I think it stopped to pick up passengers. He got in like he was supposed to, and then moved over to try to steal it.
So
to try to take over.
It picked up other passengers than him?
No, he was the passenger.
Oh, okay.
But then he tried to steal it.
What's confusing about this, Ryan?
What is confusing about
You know what would
this?
be amazing that I just realized might be a real nice side racket is if you had a car pull up with no driver, you get in it, and then you allow it to pick up other people on the way to your destination, and then sit in the driver's seat like you're taking care of them.
Just pretend and get tips.
Yeah, get tips on the way to the airport.
It pulls up to your spot. All right, guys.
Yeah. All right, take care. And then you get out with them, and the car drives away.
So I think these vehicles stop things like that, which is why this car stopped moving when the guy tried to steal it.
Stop, schmop.
Oh, it just stopped moving?
Yeah, but yeah, he got in it. He moved over. He sat there. He was attempting to steal it. It wouldn't go anywhere because you're not supposed to drive these things.
Car was like,
and the police were like, "Get out!" And he
can't
was
do
like,
that,
"No,"
Dave.
and they're like, "Get out!"
And
he was like, "No."
I apologize if you already said this part, but had he already committed a crime, or was that the crime?
That was the crime, but he was intoxicated.
So he was drunk and trying to steal a self-driving car.
Yes, and it wouldn't go anywhere for him.
Talk about the worst time to try to steal a car and drive it away.
Yeah. Don't do it while you're drunk.
Are you okay with self-driving taxis? Or is Annie okay with them?
Annie, I know for a fact, is not okay with them.
Yeah.
We've had this discussion before. I am perfectly okay with them. I think they sound awesome because, as I've said before, it's a great way to do a random weekend vacation. If you're like, you know what, I'd like to spend this next 2-3 days in Missoula, Montana. I'm going to get off of work on Friday. I'm going to get in a self-driving car and just go to sleep. And I'll wake up and I'm on vacation in Montana tomorrow. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
Is Annie not okay with them because she doesn't trust them, or
Yes.
what? Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if Brad's okay with him. I think he's
He is not. I actually like driving. Ryan's like, doesn't that sound awesome? No, I would actually enjoy the drive out to wherever.
But you'd still
Montana.
have the option to drive.
Yeah.
No, you get
still
arrested.
No, you're not drunk trying to steal the car.
This is about self-driving
This
taxis.
is my car.
And this car stops when you get in the driver's seat, so it won't let you drive.
You could still have a car and drive it. You don't have to take that one.
Well, why would I pay extra for that feature if I just want to drive it?
That's my point, is that you don't have to.
Listen, Ryan, Brad is just an old-fashioned, hardworking American. He wants to be able to drive the routes that are going to take him to places that he's never seen before.
Okay.
I want to
That
take
is
the
who
routes
Brad
that our
is.
ancestors took when they were blazing the Oregon Trail.
He doesn't need no fancy technology.
Look, if you're chiming in on this online, I don't appreciate comments like, Ryan, that's called an airplane. From
Or a train.
Russell.
I was thinking Amtrak.
Yes, but
We
it's
have
so
those
much
things.
quicker to do it. I mean, the plane's going to fly faster.
So
but
the
you got to
train
go
would
through all the
also go
security
faster.
and everything.
No
if you're
security on Amtrak. That's a glaring.
Shh, don't say that out loud. Lots of
Amtrak's-
people can hear us.
Does the train go to Montana?
I don't know.
That's my
Does
point. You can
anything
anywhere
go
you
to
want.
Montana?
That's my point. You can go anywhere. The train is going to take you to a fixed location. The plane, you got to go through 2 hours of prep to
Somewhere
get on it.
Annie is canceling all of her time off for this year.
No, she's not listening and not paying attention on purpose.
2 men died while looking for Sasquatch. 2 Oregon men were found dead in a Washington state forest after they failed to return from a trip to look for Sasquatch. The 59-year-old and 37-year-old appeared to have died from exposure. The Skamania County Sheriff's Office says the weather and the men's lack of preparedness led the office to draw that conclusion. Would Annie be okay with those Bigfoot silhouettes?
The ones where it's like walking and it looks back like it's
Yep,
caught.
you're driving down the road and you're like, whoa, what it?
Oh, it always does too. Before I answer on behalf of Annie, I will say that these guys, there is only one way to search for Sasquatch, and that is the way that they did it.
Completely
Intoxicated?
unprepared.
Yeah, no
No
preparation.
coats, There's no socks.
But also, we are going to go until this costs us everything. They did it. They have achieved, really, I think, the Sasquatch dream. And so in light of that, I will say Annie does approve of this.
Of the Bigfoot.
You're supposed to say in light of this, Annie doesn't approve of it.
because I do. She
Yes,
doesn't.
correct.
Yeah, so she does approve of the silhouettes.
Woman consumes 49 grams of green cotton candy for Guinness World Record. Speed eater Leah Schuttkever took home a new title when she consumed 49 grams of green cotton candy in 60 seconds. The competitive eater has also set records for consuming 19 chicken nuggets and 10 jelly donuts in 1 and 3 minutes, respectively. Is Annie
I think we've done that.
Speed eating cotton candy seems like
That
not
seems
that
pretty
big of a
easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
here's
ball it
49
up.
grams.
How much is a regular tub of cotton candy? That's what I want to know. I'm trying to figure out how much really 49 grams is.
It's like 0.1 pound. It is not that much, but it's cotton candy, so I don't know weight versus.
I'll tell you what, if you do ball up cotton candy, like if you were to fill a tub with smashed, potent cotton candy, that would be tough to eat. That stuff's not
potent
cotton
candy.
whatever it's
The
called.
good stuff.
Concentrate.
Not fluffy. But if it's all mashed up, that's not actually enjoyable or easy to eat at all.
So I'm seeing that the regular size tubs are 32 ounces. So she basically ate a tub and a half. I don't think that this is that
That's
impressive.
ounces, not grams.
This sounds
you're
like
right.
a
I'm
weird
totally reading
competition.
ounces.
Like you can just
Google's
eat
failed
anything
me.
you want because she just ate a bunch of cotton
Yeah,
candy and
it's-
chicken nuggets.
That's how the Guinness World Record worked. I think these two things happened at different times. Her latest feat was the cotton candy.
Okay.
Previously, she ate some chicken nuggets and some jelly donuts.
See, I thought that
fast.
was all one competition.
No.
And they're like, this is just like a eating. You just eat whatever. She's like, oh, yeah? Well, I'll just have like a couple sodas and some cotton candy and some nuggets.
I'll eat 19 nuggets real fast.
Can you give me a jelly roll also? Okay.
Is Annie okay with cotton candy?
No, I don't think so. It's universally beloved, and so she would dislike it.
And because I had no other stories, this is how much chocolate you'd have to eat for it to kill you. The sweet treat is made from cocoa beans, which contain the mild stimulant theobromine, which in large amounts can be poisonous. So Popular Science crunched the numbers and determined that a 165-pound person could theoretically fatally overdose from eating 711 regular-sized Hershey's milk chocolate bars.
You would die from explosion before the theotermidone.
7,084 Hershey's chocolate kisses, or only 332 standard-size Hershey's dark chocolate bars.
332?
Yep, that's all it takes to theoretically die because there are no reports of this ever happening.
There's no way for a person to eat that much chocolate. Like, even a huge person could not eat that many chocolate bars in one sitting.
Not with that attitude.
I don't think I think that is a stupid exercise, and I think we should defund it with Doge.
Do you think Annie is okay with Willy Wonka?
Oh.
Ooh, which version? Actually, we've talked about this recently.
Old and new.
I don't know if she loves the old one or not. She loves the new one with Timothy Chalamet.
Oh.
Wait, hold on. How many?
What about the middle one?
Yeah,
'Cause
what
there's a
about the Johnny Depp one?
I think Johnny Depp, we all just sort of memory hole that.
See, that's the one that I grew up with, though.
Really?
Not
Yes.
the Gene Wilder?
I've seen the Gene Wilder one, but no, the Johnny Depp one was the one that came out right in kind of like the prime of when I was growing up.
I'll tell you what, Roald Dahl, who wrote those books, I went and read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and then I read Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, the sequel. It is really weird. They go into a room, like this is, I think, after Charlie is the owner of the Wonka factory. They go into a room in the basement that just has souls in it. Like people have died, and he got like, oh, I'm gonna go get a soul, get this person back to life or something. Like they go in this room, there's all these like different ghosts, and you're like, this is part of the Wonka factory. This is really weird, but it's Roald Dahl. He writes really weird
Do you
stuff.
think that they ate 332 dark chocolate bars?
I think they probably came
and
just
that's
shy.
how they ended up down there.
No, I don't think they did.
You don't think so?
No.
That's all I have.
Thank you so much.
Ryan, is there a point that you want me to ask Trisha this question?
I would say now.
Okay. Well, Trisha, did you
know
happen
what's
to
coming.
hear Wiggins America's subject today?
I did. It was the most Wiggins America segment that Wiggins didn't do.
Well,
Thank
Trisha, I'm a little bit
You're welcome.
concerned with, there's vacation days, there's sick days, but I'm still wondering where these mental health days are. And I just think that I could use a day to rest and just kind of reset. And can I have tomorrow off?
No.
You're live. Oh, no? That was quick.
Hard, fast. No, I think you should take some emergency, and you can be off from about 6:30 till about 10:30 a.m. tonight until tomorrow.
You take Saturday off, too.
You know what? Take Sunday off as well.
Adrian, Jacques Ambrose, Molly Barretts, and Ali Sharma all say that mental health days are important.
They are.
Yeah, she's on the record.
Yeah.
She's saying it's important.
She's not disagreeing.
Deal, but
She's
I will
just saying
see
not
you tomorrow.
important enough.
You should take a mental health day on Monday and be like, I can't handle all the snow. It's mentally a problem.
I like that.
All right, we'll take a short break and be right back. Trisha's leaving, unfortunately, but we'll be back. See ya.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Frey Show.
The colder weather is here, and my friends at Hanson's Tree Service want to offer you a 10% winter discount for all tree care scheduled between January and March of next year. Mark Cox here. Call now. Get your spot secured. Also, when it comes to winter plant health care, it's a great time to get one of their arborists over. Have them to prescribe the best treatment options for your trees during the fall and winter season. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. Schedule your appointment today at hansonstree.com.
A 2024 survey by Navitas Health Solutions reported that 48% of Americans have been unable to fill a needed prescription at least once due to the cost. RX Outreach, an online nonprofit mail-order pharmacy based in St. Louis, is committed to providing safe and affordable medications for everyone. They offer over 950 medicines for chronic illnesses and conditions and ship to all 50 states, regardless of insurance, without membership fees or copays. Contact RX Outreach at 314-222-0472 or visit rxoutreach.org.
January is a great time to practice your 2A skills at the Range St. Louis West, the only NSSF 5-star shooting range in St. Louis County. Right now, you have a chance to win a custom range-themed hockey jersey and a pair of tickets to a Blues game by playing their Shoots and Scores promo all this month. Go visit them at 14803 Manchester Road in Baldwin. You can shop online anytime at therangestl.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and X. I'll see you at the range.
Tony LaRussa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll, it's the last call. Should Mike Johnson remain Speaker of the House? We'll talk about that next, and we want to hear what you think, so jump on Annie's YouTube page and vote in the poll and let us know what you think. The time is 2:44. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. Good afternoon. Off for about 10 days. It feels like a month, but we have a lot to catch up on, including terrorist attacks in Las Vegas and NOLA, and then some nonsense, of course, in the streets of St. Louis early yesterday morning. We'll cover that and a whole lot more. It all starts after Fox News.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
She said, don't you worry if I disappear. I told her I'm not really looking
Ryan
for
Wiggins,
another
Brad Range in for Annie Frey today. Well, we're just in like normal, but Annie's not here, so we're hosting for Annie Frey today. The YouTube live chat poll we're going to get to in a minute. Should Mike Johnson remain the Speaker of the House? Brad will pull up the results for that. We'll give you another 10 minutes or so to get your vote in before we give you the results and talk about it. Before we do, a story that may be, I don't know, something to consider going into the new year, that if you've had to go back into the office, now government is going to deal with this real soon. They, for whatever reason, never had to go back to work after they were sent home for COVID. Why? I think because Democrats were in charge, honestly. I think this is really about it. Because the minute, and here's the proof, the minute the Republicans took back the House, they got rid of all of the proxy voting and the non-in-person voting immediately.
Yeah.
It is because the Democrats were holding it, and then Republicans said, no, we're going back.
Job. We don't actually want to do it.
We don't have to show up.
We just want the job.
So if you have not been showing up for work and you are a government employee, I think your days may be numbered, at least out of the office. They might be numbered in general as far as having a job, because they're going to start consolidating those agencies in a wonderful, wonderful way. But speaking of Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, like Elon Musk, this Fortune article says, 1 in 3 bosses admit that they're pushing real-time office time, I guess like in-person office visits, because they're so upset about wasting money on those empty desks. 1 in 3 bosses, a third of all bosses say, yeah, the reason we're having people come back is just because we're paying rent.
Yeah, you don't want to pay rent for an empty building. That's wasteful.
Completely agree. But is it in the best interest of the company? Or are you just saying, well, we're paying for it, so we might as well use it?
No, I think it's in the best interest of the company, because while there are some people out there that can be trusted to work from home, there are others that can't get the job done. And I don't know what the numbers are, but the sales for mouse jitterers, have you heard of these things?
No.
So it's a device you can buy online that shakes your mouse and makes it look like it's moving.
Yes.
And those went through the roof when they started working from home, which means that you aren't actually doing your job if you have one of those and you're just doing it so it looks like you're working. If you're actually working, you don't need that device.
I'm a big fan of hybrid work. Now, a lot of what we do, Monday being an exception, we don't know what Monday's going to look like with the snow.
Yeah.
We do have, because of COVID, we have the capability of broadcasting from home, but we prefer to be together in a room because it's just more dynamic. I mean, when the 3 of us / 4 of us are in here, there's no lag. I mean, that's a big part of it, is even that half-second lag.
Yeah.
It makes a difference as far as timing goes. And so we like to be in the room together. But that's kind of why I say hybrid work is the best, because you do the work you need to do in person. And this goes for any job. Radio is different, of course, than any other job. But if you are an office worker and you can get away with doing 50% of your job from home, I say great. As long as you're getting it done, that's what matters. But having those check-ins in person with your coworkers, with your boss, with just the office atmosphere, to be around the people because regardless of what you do, being around people who either just do the same thing as you or are on similar teams as you, there's an energy there that I think is beneficial. And there's an accountability there that's beneficial.
It's a sense of community. You feel like you are working together with somebody for a purpose, for a cause, rather than just another wheel in the cog.
Yeah, and everybody's job is different. So some jobs really are pretty autonomous. Mm-hmm. And I know that there are people who here at Odyssey, they work a pretty good amount from outside of the office. And I'm a huge advocate of that, as long as you can get everything done. But I don't think that it's one or the other. I really like that we have the option now as a society, I'm just speaking broadly, to do some work from home, because we really in the past didn't, and that's shifted.
The ability to be able to take a day off because you've got a sick child or whatever, and
still work
and still get your stuff done, not have to get behind or something like that. I think that is a plus, that is a bonus, but I think that should be the fallback, not the default.
Yeah, and I'm for pushing it a little bit more, as long as everything's getting done. Like, you really got to hit your benchmarks. You got to have all those, those qualifications that you hit. And that's set by your manager more than anything. So as long as the manager kind of is on top of it and you can hit all those things, I'm all for it. I just think that's it makes sense that bosses would be like, look, we're paying for the office, you got to use it. But I don't know that that's the best reason to do it.
Well, you've got to do one of two things. You've got to start using the office so that that's not wasteful, or you've got to eliminate the office.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen, unfortunately. Like, within the next couple of years, it's probably already started to happen, where leases have been ending since 2020. People are realizing that either they don't need the office at all, or they need a lot less of it. And so there's a lot of negotiations. And this is what people predicted in the real estate world during 2020 and 21, as they said, commercial real estate is going to be problematic. We have just a couple minutes here before the top of the hour. So let's talk about this poll. We haven't really mentioned it much today. Should Mike Johnson remain the Speaker of the House? The reason this is a poll, if you're not paying attention, is that tomorrow they're going to have the vote for Speaker of the House. Mm-hmm. This is something they always do, so this isn't like a sudden vote or anything. This is when you have a new Congress coming in. They do the speaker vote. Well, that's tomorrow. And the Republican majority is so narrow that I think they said they can lose one vote.
One vote.
If they lose two Republicans. Now, this is assuming all Democrats vote against him, which it looks like they will.
Yeah.
Although, there's been tricky things been happening. But in this case, it looks like all Democrats are going to vote against Johnson. So that means you have only one Republican who can vote against him and him still retain the speakership. Right now, they're reporting that there are at least two Republicans, and they're not the ones you'd think of. Thomas Massie, maybe, but the Victoria Sparks, the Ukrainian Indiana representative Republican, she seems like she's a no. At least that's what they're reporting. So if that's true, there's your two right there, and you're going to a second ballot already if that's the case. Mm-hmm. So and we're going to be covering this tomorrow. It's going to be happening. The Kevin McCarthy thing was kind of a big deal, so I think we're all bracing for what is this going to look like. Maybe it's a big deal too. We'll see. But the question is, should Mike Johnson remain Speaker of the House? What do you think, Brad?
I'm a yes. I think that a lot of the issues that we're having.
Are you a soft yes or are you a emphatic yes?
I don't think I would go as far as to say emphatic, but I'm pretty hard yeah. I look at what's going on with the House and what people are frustrated with, and it's not Mike Johnson isn't the issue. It's not your speaker that is the issue. It's the makeup of your Congress. It's the narrow majorities. The Massies and the Chip Roys of the world want certain things, and I like a lot of the stuff that they want. But then whenever you give them what they want, then you've got to go to the more moderate Republicans from Northern Illinois, the ones from, closer to like Long Island and that place, the New York, the Californias, the ones that aren't in as conservative areas and more purple districts that aren't as hardcore on some of these things, and you've got to win them over. So because you have such a narrow majority, you can't afford to lose either one, and that makes your speaker job, A, very difficult, and B, you're not going to get what Chip Roy wants. You're not going to get everything of what he wants, but I admire him for standing on his principles. You're not going to get whatever Thomas Massie wants. My frustration is that it seems like some of these politicians are trying to eat the whole apple instead of just trying to get a bite out of the apple and get a little bit of what they want and then make a little progress. So, no, I think Mike Johnson is doing a good job. I think you just got to get him back in there. And you as a Congress have to work together and hash those things out. It's not his fault that stuff comes to the floor.
Ethan, you have any desire to weigh in on this topic?
Not really.
I figured I'd give you the opportunity.
No, I appreciate it. I don't have enough knowledge as to where Congress sits on this. I know that his name has been. This is not the first time that we've brought up Mike Johnson. I think that a lot of the CR stuff kind of brought us to this point. I will say this: someone that has a limited knowledge, I would say, more so the general level of politics. It doesn't look good when you've consistently been going back and back to these things over the past 6 to 8 months over your Speaker of the House. It does not look good, in my opinion, for the Republican side of things.
It's probably about a year now.
Has it been that long?
Since Kevin McCarthy, anyway, yeah. I don't know if that's what you're referring to.
Yes, but even since then, it feels like we've constantly gone back to this conversation a couple of different times. And I don't think that looks very secure for the Republican Party, personally.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, too. I know Kilmeade is like that. He says, look, this looks really bad. It looks like we're in disarray when this happens. I completely disagree.
Well, think about where Kilmeade is from, though. And what the type of people Kilmeade would be talking to. It's those moderate purple Republicans.
I mean, a little bit. He's not that.
No.
But I don't have a problem with the chaos part. This one's a little weird because they do have to certify the presidential election on Monday. So, there's a little less time to be dealing with it. We do need to deal with it. But I'm a very, very barely yes on this. I don't have any specific problems with Mike Johnson. I think like you said, any speaker has to cobble together a lot of different factions, and he's trying to do that. And I think he's actually a pretty good guy, just in general. But I am okay with Thomas Massie and whoever holding his feet to the fire and trying to get some accountability for some of the spending, because we can't just do a conservative version of a budget. We have to do something very different. And if that's what the argument is being made for right now for the speaker stuff, I'm all for it. because we got to see some bigger changes than just, we'll do a little bit more conservative budget. But that's the poll today. Should Mike Johnson remain Speaker of the House? Brad, do you have the results?
I don't. Ethan, are you there?
Ethan, you got the results?
How dare you doubt me, Wiggins? 190.
I don't think your mic is on.
I got you.
Sure isn't, but it is now.
Okay.
What I was going to say is...
You said, how dare
you doubt me, as my microphone was off. 190 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll. Should Mike Johnson remain the Speaker of the House? 78% say yes. So are you surprised by the overwhelming majority of this one?
I am, but based on the comments that we have on our on our YouTube page here, most people were saying yes. So I guess not. It's close to 80% yes.
And 22% say no.
All right, well, thanks for being here. We will be here tomorrow, too. And then Annie for January 6th will be back on Monday, but we've got a great Friday planned for you. We're going to be talking a little weather, so prepare for that, just like we are. Sunday's going to be a big day. This is the Annie Frey Show. We'll see you tomorrow.
Jams, kick up soul, pour another glass of that rock and roll. Turn up the band, find the hole, gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me?
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Joe Montana here. In my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease. Are you 50 or older like me? The CDC now recommends vaccination against pneumococcal disease. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at increased risk and over 6 times greater risk of hospitalization with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50. Schedule your appointment today at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
The fighting spirit of the Marine Corps is born of battles won. Battles won within, over enemies of fear